Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly begin. To avoid any inconvenience, kindly mute your microphone. You're also urged to rename your Zoom according to your role.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Selamat datang seluruh mahasiswa baru Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Saya ucapkan selamat bergabung dalam keluarga besar mahasiswa Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis. Mahasiswa FEB Veteran Yogyakarta akan selalu memiliki tekad yang kuat guna mengenyam pendidikan sebagai upaya implementasi dari cita-cita bangsa Indonesia yang diamanahkan dalam pembukaan Undang-Undang Dasar 1945 dalam rangka mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta selalu melakukan yang terbaik untuk mahasiswanya agar dapat kita wujudkan visi Fakultas Ekonomi tercinta ini, yakni menjadi Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis yang unggul di tingkat ASEAN yang dilandasi jiwa bela negara pada tahun 2030, di mana selain pendidikan akademik yang akan tumbuh pada jiwa-jiwa mahasiswa, akan tumbuh juga jiwa bela negara, kecintaan pada negara kesatuan Republik Indonesia seperti sebelah kita, yaitu Widya Matyasa, yang artinya menuntut ilmu guna diabdikan untuk pembangunan bangsa dan negara, yang pada akhirnya nanti saudara setelah mengenyam minimal 144 SKS dan lulus menjadi sarjana ekonomi yang handal dan juga mencintai negara ini. Perjuangan yang Anda lakukan kelak tidak harus melalui angkat senjata, namun melalui bidang-bidang yang lain termasuk bidang ekonomi, yang mana nanti akan berdampak pada kemajuan bangsa dan negara. Untuk itu, proses pembelajaran yang akan disajikan oleh para dosen haruslah saudara ikuti dengan seksama dan dengan rasa sungguh-sungguh, sehingga saudara dapat lulus sesuai dengan waktu yang telah dialokasikan, di mana pembelajaran diberlakukan menjadi pembelajaran akademik yang akan saudara ikuti di kelas, dalam mata kuliah, dan yang lainnya. Serta ada pembelajaran pengembangan diri mahasiswa yang bisa saudara lakukan dengan mengikuti kegiatan di luar kelas, yang memang kegiatan tersebut sudah secara legal dan didukung oleh Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, seperti organisasi kemahasiswaan, unit kegiatan mahasiswa di UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Kembangkan diri saudara sesuai dengan minat bakat saudara dengan memanfaatkan fasilitas dan peluang yang ada di UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Menuntut ilmu adalah hak saudara-saudara warga negara Indonesia yang telah ditegaskan dalam Undang-Undang Dasar 1945. Menjadi seorang yang lahir, tumbuh dan besar di negeri Indonesia tercinta ini membuat rasa cinta kita pada negara ini amatlah besar. Saudara berasal dari seluruh Nusantara, berbanggalah pada negara ini, di mana estafet kepemimpinan nanti akan berada pada pundak saudara semuanya. menjadi generasi milenial yang didukung oleh kemajuan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi, serta kemudahan-kemudahan dalam memperoleh informasi, harusnya membuat saudara menjadi manusia yang unggul, yang bisa dengan mudah menggunakan akses tersebut memperkaya ilmu pengetahuan. Generasi terpelajar akan selalu menghasilkan ide-ide dan kreativitas yang cerdas, luar biasa, dan akan mengguncang dunia. Lulusan dari FEB Veteran Yogyakarta bukanlah lulusan yang lemah, tetapi lulusan yang kuat dan tangguh. Saudara seperti harapan pelita bangsa yang selalu menghadapi kegelapan di tiap-tiap masanya. Bangsa ini memiliki cerita panjang yang akan selalu terpatri dalam balutan sejarah. Kini waktunya bagi saudara mengukir sejarah-sejarah baru dengan tinta emas kejayaan khususnya di bidang ekonomi. Saya bangga saudara di sini. Saya bangga saudara menjadi mahasiswa Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, yang mana saudara harus bersiap lalu meleset menggapai cita. Bersama kita akan melewati tantangan-tantangan di masa depan. Sekali lagi, selamat bagi saudara menjadi keluarga besar Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Katakan satu untuk ekonomi. Terima kasih. Akhir kalam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The needs of economists are followed by phase-based globalization. Economic development with strong nationalism is needed to make it happen. Here we are. Welcome to UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, where academic excellence meets real-world impact. Today, we invite you to explore our renowned master program of economics. At UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, we believe that the future of economics lies in innovation and knowledge. Our esteemed faculty members are not just educators, they are mentors, guiding students towards a deep understanding of economic theories and their practical applications. The curriculum is structured with the aim of increasing graduate competence, both in soft skills and hard skills. According to the dynamics in the industrial era and the era of the society, preparing graduates as future leaders of the nation who are superior and have personalities. As a student, you will have opportunities to put theory into practices through one of these specializations, such as regional development planning, mineral economics, monetary and banking, economics and public finance, and property management. Achievements and recognition obtained by lecturers, mainly being an MOE Sharia Council, expert in various institutions, both private and government, reviews of international and national journals, administrators of national and regional institutions, best presenters, resource person at national workshop and seminars, becoming guest lecturers, keynote speeches, producing books with ISBN, obtaining PR certificates, international competency certificates, writing journals in Scopus or Sinta Index journals, serving as teaching staff at other universities, and being dissertation examiners at other universities, both in private university and local university. However, it's not all about academics. We believe in fostering a well-rounded student experience, including providing immersive classrooms, digital libraries, laboratories, pharmacy, prayer facilities, and co-working spaces for students. Our graduates have gone on to excel in diverse fields across Indonesia, from finance, entrepreneur, to policymaker, making a positive impact wherever they go. Recently, we also expanded our partnership with several stakeholders, including university partners in Malaysia and Turkey, Bank Indonesia, the Indonesian Ministry, and other local stakeholders. Take the first step towards a brighter future in academics. Master of Economics, UPN Veteran, Yogyakarta.
Supriyani, and I would like to recommend you to join this conference.
Hi, my name is Roland Perdana. I think this is very good opportunity to join this conference.
Hello, my name is Ferry Prastia. I am very happy to join this international seminar with IBPM, and this is a good impression for me to enrich my knowledge.
Hello, my name is Bohirjon Sodikov. I'm from Tajikistan. We are so happy that we join such kind of conference.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. The Governor of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, Your Excellency, Sri Sultan Hamengkubuwono X, the Vice Governor of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, Kanjeng Gusti Pangeran Adipati Arya Pakualam X, Excellencies, Director of Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, Profesor Dr. Muhammad Irhas Effendi MSI, the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, Dr. Sujatmika MSI, the Chairman of 2023 WIMAYA Yogyakarta, Dr. Adito Binadi MSI, Excellencies, the President of Association of International Business and Professional Management, AIBPM, Dr. Lim Kaisin, the Vice President of AIBPM, Mrs. Ira Christiana, the speakers of today's event, Dr. Insinyur Suharso Monoarfa, Dr. Kan Kiahwe, Dr. Anurag Hazarika, Dr. Ranu Jain, and Dr. Paul Dung Gadi, the co-host of today's program, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Pasundan, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Tidar, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Siliwangi, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Yarsi. Excellencies, participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to the third WIMAYA Yogyakarta International Conference, held by the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, and the Associations of International Business and Professional Management, AIBPM. The third WIMAYA is attended by people around the world, including Indonesia, Malaysia, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Poland, Hong Kong, Nigeria, Pakistan, the United States of America, South Africa, Kuwait, and etc. I am Aulia Herdiani. I feel honored to be the host for today's event. It's a perfect opportunity for us to interact and network with you all peers and colleagues across countries. I do appreciate you for taking your busy schedule to join us today, Friday, 17th of November, 2023. On these occasions, we'll be having outstanding discussions with our prominent speakers at this international Forum for Economic Development and Sustainable Business. Thus, we couldn't be more thankful to our co-hosts, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Pasundan, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Tidar, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Siliwangi, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Yarsi, for the huge contribution for the program. Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially begin our international conference, we will reverse and listen to our national anthem, Indonesia. Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta Anthem, Mars Bela Negara. For all participants, please place your right hand on your left chest.
Bangunlah seluruh bangsa Indonesia, hadapi tantangan dan cobaan. Raihlah cita-cita yang mulia, agama, ragam budaya serta golongan. Satu untuk semua, semua untuk satu. Raya Indonesia ku tercinta. Persatuan dan kesatuan, negara Republik Indonesia. Undang-Undang Dasar 45, Pancasila dasar negara. Seluruh rakyat wajib bela negara, song-song hari esok kamu sejahtera. Bangunlah seluruh bangsa Indonesia, hadapi tantangan dan cobaan. Raihlah cita-cita yang mulia, Indonesia makmur dan sentosa. Walau berbagai suku dan agama, ragam budaya serta golongan. Satu untuk semua, semua untuk satu. Raya Indonesia ku tercinta. Persatuan dan kesatuan, negara Republik Indonesia. Undang-Undang Dasar 45, Pancasila dasar negara. Seluruh rakyat wajib bela negara, song-song hari esok kamu sejahtera.
Excellency speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I present you AIBPM and Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Selamat datang seluruh mahasiswa baru Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Saya ucapkan selamat bergabung dalam keluarga besar mahasiswa Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis. Mahasiswa FEB Veteran Yogyakarta akan selalu memiliki tekad yang kuat guna mengenyam pendidikan sebagai upaya implementasi dari cita-cita bangsa Indonesia yang diamanakan dalam pembukaan Undang-Undang Dasar 1945 dalam rangka mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa. Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta selalu melakukan yang terbaik untuk mahasiswanya agar dapat kita wujudkan visi Fakultas Ekonomi tercinta ini, yakni menjadi Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis yang unggul di tingkat ASEAN yang dilandasi jiwa bela negara pada tahun 2030, di mana selain pendidikan akademik yang akan tumbuh pada jiwa-jiwa mahasiswa, akan tumbuh juga jiwa bela negara, kecintaan pada negara kesatuan Republik Indonesia seperti slogan kita, yaitu Widya Matyasa, yang artinya menuntut ilmu guna diabdikan untuk pembangunan bangsa dan negara. Yang pada akhirnya nanti saudara setelah mengenyam minimal 144 SKS dan lulus menjadi sarjana ekonomi yang handal dan juga mencintai negara ini. Perjuangan yang Anda lakukan kelak tidak harus melalui angkat senjata, namun melalui bidang-bidang yang lain termasuk bidang ekonomi, yang mana nanti akan berdampak pada kemajuan bangsa dan negara. Untuk itu, proses pembelajaran yang akan disajikan oleh para dosen haruslah saudara ikuti dengan seksama dan dengan rasa sungguh-sungguh, sehingga saudara dapat lulus sesuai dengan waktu yang telah dialokasikan, di mana pembelajaran diberlakukan menjadi pembelajaran akademik yang akan saudara ikuti di kelas, dalam mata kuliah, dan yang lainnya. Serta ada pembelajaran pengembangan diri mahasiswa yang bisa saudara lakukan dengan mengikuti kegiatan di luar kelas, yang memang kegiatan tersebut sudah secara legal dan didukung oleh Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, seperti organisasi kemahasiswaan, unit kegiatan mahasiswa di UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Kembangkan diri saudara sesuai dengan minat bakat saudara dengan memanfaatkan fasilitas dan peluang yang ada di UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Menuntut ilmu adalah hak saudara-saudara warga negara Indonesia yang telah ditegaskan dalam Undang-Undang Dasar 1945. Menjadi seorang yang lahir, tumbuh dan besar di negeri Indonesia tercinta ini membuat rasa cinta kita pada negara ini amatlah besar. Saudara berasal dari seluruh Nusantara. Berbanggalah pada negara ini, di mana estafet kepemimpinan nanti akan berada pada pundak saudara semuanya. Menjadi generasi milenial yang didukung oleh kemajuan ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi, serta kemudahan-kemudahan dalam memperoleh informasi, harusnya membuat saudara menjadi manusia yang unggul, yang bisa dengan mudah menggunakan akses tersebut memperkaya ilmu pengetahuan. Generasi terpelajar akan selalu menghasilkan ide-ide dan kreativitas yang cerdas, luar biasa, dan akan mengguncang dunia. Lulusan dari FEB UPN Veteran Yogyakarta bukanlah lulusan yang lemah, tetapi lulusan yang kuat dan tangguh. Saudara seperti harapan pelita bangsa yang selalu menghadapi kegelapan di tiap-tiap masanya. Bangsa ini memiliki cerita panjang yang akan selalu terpatri dalam balutan sejarah. Kini waktunya bagi saudara mengukir sejarah-sejarah baru dengan tinta emas kejayaan khususnya di bidang ekonomi. Saya bangga saudara di sini. Saya bangga saudara menjadi mahasiswa Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, yang mana saudara harus bersiap lalu meleset menggapai cita. Bersama kita akan melewati tantangan-tantangan di masa depan. Sekali lagi, selamat bagi saudara menjadi keluarga besar Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis UPN Veteran Yogyakarta. Katakan satu untuk ekonomi. Terima kasih. Akhirul kalam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The needs of economists are followed by faith-based globalization. Economic development with strong nationalism is needed to make it happen. Here we are. Welcome to UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, where academic excellence meets real-world impact. Today, we invite you to explore our renowned master program of economics. At UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, we believe that the future of economics lies in innovation and knowledge. Our esteemed faculty members are not just educators, they are mentors, guiding students towards a deep understanding of economic theories and their practical applications. The curriculum is structured with the aim of increasing graduate competence, both in soft skills and hard skills. According to the dynamics in the industrial era and the era of the society, preparing graduates as future leaders of the nation who are superior and have personalities. As a student, you will have opportunities to put theory into practices through one of these specializations, such as regional development planning, mineral economics, monetary and banking, economics and public finance, and property management. Achievements and recognition obtained by lecturers, mainly being an MOE Sharia Council, expert in various institutions, both private and government, reviews of international and national journals, administrators of national and regional institutions, best presenters, resource person at national workshop and seminars, becoming guest lecturers, keynote speeches, producing books with ISBN, obtaining IPR certificates, international competency certificates, writing journals in Scopus or Sinta Index journals, serving as teaching staff at other universities, and being dissertation examiners at other universities, both in private university and local university. However, it's not all about academics. We believe in fostering a well-rounded student experience, including providing immersive classrooms, digital libraries, laboratories, pharmacy, prayer facilities, and co-working spaces for students. Our graduates have gone on to excel in diverse fields across Indonesia, from finance, entrepreneur, to policymaker, making a positive impact wherever they go. Recently, we also expanded our partnership with several stakeholders, including university partners in Malaysia and Turkey, Bank Indonesia, the Indonesian Ministry, and other local stakeholders. Take the first step towards a brighter future in economics. Master of Economics, UPN Veteran Yogyakarta.
Without further ado, I'd like to invite Director of Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Muhammad Irfhas Effendi, MSI, to deliver the opening remark.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to all of you. Your Excellency, the Governor of Special Region of Yogyakarta, Sri Sultan Hamengkubuwono X, Your Excellency, Vice Governor of Special Region of Yogyakarta, Sri Pakualam ke-10, the Honorable Chairman of 2023 WIMAYA International Conference, Dr. Adito Binadi, the Honorable President of Association of International Business and Professional Management, Dr. Lim Kei-Shin, the Honorable Vice President of AIBPN, Ira Christiana, the Honorable our keynote speaker, Mr. Suarso Manwafa, or his representative, the Honorable our keynote speaker, Dr. Kan Hui, Dr. Anurag Hasarika, Dr. Ranu James, and Dr. Paul Dung Gadi. The Honorable our co-host, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Pasundan, University of Tidar, University of Siliwangi, and University of Yersey. The Honorable Mr. and Mrs. Presenters, lecturer, distinguished guests, fellow participants, it is grateful to be blessed with heart and opportunity to we can gather here to discuss various important issues in the third WIMAYA International Conference. As the Director of Universitas Pembangunan Nasional Veteran Yogyakarta, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Faculty of Economic and Business at UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, especially the Economic Development Study Program in collaboration with the Association of International Business and Professional Management, which had the third WIMAYA International Conference, and to all conference participants, speakers, organizers, and contributors. The theme of the International Forum of Economic Development and Sustainable Business is highly relevant and significant. Hopefully, it can run well and smoothly until completion. Ladies and gentlemen, into the era of globalization, economic development faces increasingly complex dynamics and growing uncertainty. Thus, we need to work together to discover solutions and collaborative strategies that not only ensure economic development, but also sustainability amid global economic changes. Global economic uncertainty, particularly in recent years, has posed a significant challenges for all nations. The ongoing pandemic crisis, the ever-growing impact of climate change, and the dynamic nature of global politics necessitate increased innovation and adaptability in developing policy for progress. Consequently, this forum presents an platform to exchange thought, experiences, and expertise in formatting strategic measures toward achieving sustainable economic development. Indonesia, with its abundant natural and human resources, plays a vital role in realizing the ambitious Golden Indonesia 2045 vision. Achieving this national development agenda is shared responsibility among the government, academic, business politicians, business practitioners, and civil society. Success in reaching these goals requires cross-sector and interdisciplinary collaboration. Through this conference, let us collaborate to address the challenges faced by our nation. We will identify new opportunities in terms of technological innovation, human resources development, and economic policy reform, fostering a solid foundation for sustainable economic growth and benefiting the wider community. Together, we can realize idea of Golden Indonesia 2045. Ladies and gentlemen, we have organized this conference to facilitate a comprehensive understanding of global economic challenges, particularly these faced by developing countries such as Indonesia. Our goal is to introduce innovative ideas and pathways that can expedite sustainable progress at both national and international level. Through this meeting, we hope to explore new opportunities, accelerate sustainable development, and provide constructive input or recommendation through the result of research that has been studied from various fields of economics. It is intention that this event deliver a valuable and fruitful forum for all attendees. Session and presentation will develop into contemporary challenges in the domain of economic development and sustainable business, offering comprehensive perspective. This academic conference was attended by professionals from diverse institutions and universities around the world, including Indonesia, Malaysia, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Poland, Hong Kong, Nigeria, Pakistan, United States of America, South Africa, Kuwait, and then the wider background of participants promise to enrich the conference by enabling a valuable exchange of ideas and experiences. So together, let us embrace a spirit of collaboration and knowledge sharing to create a robust network that supports sustainable development in the future. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the conference. Hopefully, the discussion and collaboration at this conference will positively contribute to sustainable business and economic development, not just in Indonesia, but worldwide. With gratitude, seeking his blessing and saying, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially declare the third WIMAYA International Conference with the theme, the International Forum for Economic Development and Sustainable Business, open. Hopefully, the entire series of events will run smoothly and bring about the expected result and benefit. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Ihas. And now it's our honor to invite the Governor of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, Sri Sultan Hamengkubuwono X, to deliver the opening remarks, represented by Vice Governor of the Special Region of Yogyakarta, Kanjeng Gusti Pangeran Adipati Arya Pakualam X.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera dan salam sehat bagi kita semua. Mohon izin pada kesempatan ini untuk membacakan sambutan Gubernur Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta. Gubernur Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, sambutan The Third WIMAYA International Conference 2023, Yogyakarta, 17 November 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam damai sejahtera bagi kita semua. Yang kami hormati Rektor dan seluruh sivitas akademik Universitas Pembangunan Negeri Veteran Yogyakarta, yang terhormat para pembicara, pengisi acara, dan peserta konferensi sekalian. Tema konferensi hari ini, The International Forum for Economic Development and Sustainable Business, sangat relevan dalam konteks global. Acara ini memberi kita kesempatan untuk menjelajahi berbagai isu-isu ekonomi, termasuk tantangan yang dihadapi oleh negara-negara seperti Indonesia, serta peluang baru untuk pembangunan berkelanjutan. Sebagai negara berkembang, Indonesia menghadapi tantangan ekonomi yang kompleks seperti globalisasi, perubahan iklim, dan perkembangan teknologi. Kita harus berinovasi, berkolaborasi, dan memahami situasi global untuk mengatasinya. Pentingnya pembangunan berkelanjutan tidak bisa diabaikan, karena ini tidak hanya tentang pertumbuhan ekonomi, tetapi juga melibatkan lingkungan, kesetaraan, dan keadilan. Peluang baru seperti energi terbarukan, ekonomi berbagi, dan teknologi hijau harus menjadi fokus kita. Acara ini juga menjadi tempat untuk berbagi penelitian dan pengetahuan dari berbagai bidang ilmu. Kerjasama lintas disiplin akan membantu kita menemukan solusi yang efektif. Untuk itu, saya dengan senang hati menyambut Anda semua di Yogyakarta dan mengapresiasi konferensi ekonomi ini. Yogyakarta adalah tempat yang tepat untuk berkolaborasi dan menjelajahi ide-ide baru yang akan membawa perubahan positif bagi negara kita dan dunia. Akhir kata, terima kasih kepada semua peserta, narasumber, dan seluruh pihak yang berpartisipasi di acara ini. Saya yakin bahwa diskusi dan riset akan membawa kita menuju masa depan yang lebih baik, di mana pembangunan ekonomi dan bisnis yang berkelanjutan akan menjadi kenyataan. Semoga acara ini meraih sukses yang diharapkan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yogyakarta, 17 November 2023. Gubernur Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta ditandatangani Hamengkubuwono ke-10. Demikian Bapak Ibu, telah kami bacakan sambutan Gubernur Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta. Terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the fantastic speech, and we are lucky to have such great and remarkable people to support this conference. The speech was designed to the official opening of the third WIMAYA Yogyakarta International Conference. Once again, welcome to the 2023 WIMAYA. Well, before we start seminar sessions, I'd like to invite all panelists and participants to turn the camera on. We'll take group pictures, and the committee will be helping to capture it in a moment.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Aulia. Now I will start to take the photos together of us. So please turn on your camera, and I will take the photos from the gallery 1. Okay, from gallery 1, please get ready. I will take the photo on 3, 2, 1. Okay, next on the second gallery, I will take the photos 3, 2, 1. And the third gallery, please turn on your camera. Okay, I will take the photo on 3, 2, 1. And the last gallery, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, Ms. Aulia. You can continue the event.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Alicia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd also like to invite you to share today's photo on your Instagram and give the hashtag 2023 WIMAYA, hashtag info for academia, 4 stand for number 4, and then the best Instagram post will get free entry to our next conference. We also invite you to follow our Instagram at info for academia, once again 4 stand for number 4, and our YouTube channel on AIBPM Talk Series. You can obtain up-to-date information about our events, publication opportunities, and the video of our conferences. The information also has shared in the chat box, as well as other important information related to coming events and opportunities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to introduce you to the keynote speakers of today's conference. We have 4 excellent speakers with us right now. The first one will be Dr. Insinyur Suharso Monoarfa, the Minister of National Development Planning Indonesia, and followed by Dr. Gan Kehoe from INTI International College Penang, Malaysia. And then next will be Dr. Anurag Hazarika from Tezpur Central University, India. And then followed by Dr. Ranu Jain from Sydenham Institute of Management Studies, Research and Entrepreneurship Education, India. The last but not the least will be Dr. Dung Gadi from Plateau State Polytechnic Barkin, Ladi from Nigeria. It's also my profound pleasure to introduce you to our moderator for today's event, Dr. Rudresh Pandey. Good morning, Dr. Rudresh.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Aulia. How are you?
I am good. So how about you? Is
I'm
it
fine.
good
Yeah,
in your
I'm
place?
fine.
Okay.
Fine.
So
Thank
at
you.
first, yes, let me briefly explain to your bio. Dr. Rudresh Pandey is distinguished alumnus of IIM Indore, represent a unique blend of academic and industry expertise. Alongside his MBA with distinctions from the FEB Indore and PhD from Barkatullah University Bhopal, he has undertaken prestigious programs at renowned institutions like IIM Kozhikode, IIT Kharagpur, and NTU Singapore. His robust 23 years career feature a decade spent at corporate heavyweights like Read Business Informations and India Today. Beyond being a startup consultant, he is a respected figure in international forums, having presented at esteemed conferences in China, UAE, Singapore, and India with over 80 published research papers to his name. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Rudresh Pandey. Dr. Rudresh, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Aulia. I welcome everyone for this conference. Just give me a minute. I'll start. Okay, I'll be the moderator for today's conference, and let me explain the rules here. We have 4 keynote speakers. All online participants will be muted during the presentations. There will be a question and answer session after the keynote speaker has finished the presentation. Let me explain you. There are 2 occasions where you can ask questions. You can ask questions directly after the speech of the keynote speaker. And second opportunity for you to ask questions will be after everyone has finished. All the keynote speakers have finished their speeches. So each keynote speaker will get 30 minutes to present, and 20 minutes is the presentation time, and 10 minutes is for the question and answer session. Presenter can take the time, all 30 minutes for their presentation, and take the questions after all the presentations have finished. Now I would like to introduce our first speaker, Chandra, Buana, Director of Macro Planning and Statistical Analysis, Indonesia, Ministry of National Development Planning. Chandra Buana is currently working as Director for Macro Planning and Statistical Analysis for Indonesia, Ministry of National Development Planning. With more than a decade of experience working for National Ministry, Chandra is highly respected in economic development sector. More recently, he has engaged in several public discussions on inclusive economic development in Indonesia. For Chandra Buana, the time is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Rudresh, as a moderator. Very good morning for you all. His Excellency, the Vice Governor of Special Region of Yogyakarta, Professor Emir Hasan Effendi, Rector of UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, Ibu Ira Kristiana, Vice President of AIBPM Indonesia, and all keynote speakers and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning and may peace be upon us all. On behalf of Minister of Bappenas, please allow me to express my highest gratitude and appreciation to the committee and all parties who have organized this excellent conference, the third WIMAYA International Conference UPN Veteran Yogyakarta, with the theme the International Forum for Economic Development and Sustainable Business, and have invited Bappenas to share a big picture of the challenges and development achievement that Indonesia has achieved today and our plan in the future. Related about that, our keynote speech, we want to share about that three main things that I want to convey to conference participants this morning. First, related about that, how about the recent global condition, which are the challenging. The second, Indonesian economic resilience and how the SDGs achievement amidst the global uncertainty in Indonesia. And the third one about the Indonesian Green Strategy towards a Golden Indonesia 2045 through economic transformation. Related about the post-COVID pandemic, it is not getting any easier. On the contrary, challenges are increasing very complex, mainly driven by global geopolitical tension that are heating up, causing the world to become fragmented. The other side, the potential risk for the pandemic in the future is still very possible, as stated by WHO. Apart from that, climate change is becoming more and more real. Even the UN says no longer uses the term global warming, but global boiling, as a phrase that shows the world is getting hotter. In addition, increasing rapid technological change are also causing disruption in various economic sectors, especially with the increasing development of artificial intelligence. The high geopolitical tension between Israel and Palestine have caused the global geopolitical risk to increase again. This condition is captured from the Geopolitical Risk Index. And the global geopolitical tension has also led to increased global economic uncertainty. And this is the, if we look at about that global economic growth, it is there is a widening growth divergence between countries and potential for the recession. The global economic in the future is driven more by emerging market economies compared to developed country. Related about that inflation. Persistent inflation caused banks to hold interest rate high for the longer. That prompted central bank to hold interest rate high to ensure about that inflation will be within the central bank targets. In addition, if you look at about that the main country that the export for the Indonesia is China. China still play an important role as the one of the world's growth engine, even though now China economy is underperforming because of the global economy. This is due to the decline of credit and ongoing property crisis. And the property China is the main sector that contributes to China GDPs by 25%. Furthermore, after the commodity boom in 2022, commodity prices are still declining, but oil prices are starting to show upward movement in line with the geopolitical tension in the Middle East. And the global real sector is also experiencing pressure. We can see about that the manufacturing PMI in the several advanced countries are still in the contraction zone, apart from United States, which show no change in purchasing managers' policy in October 2023. Meanwhile, the PMI of China and Indonesia in September 2023 experienced a slowdown, although it was still in expansion zone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia economic growth remained resilient amidst a high global uncertainty. Indonesia economic remains strong as reflected in the realization growth in third quarter 2023, reaching about the 4.9% year-on-year. And the positive economic development also captured by the relative well-maintained demand side. Please, the consumer confidence index continued to be in optimistic position. Proportionally, it also shows that the proportion of public consumption is still maintained. On the other side, in the supply side, also continues to be in the expansion zone, reflected by the industrial sector. Real sector activity, if you look at this graph, such as the manufacturing industry, have also consistently in the expansionary zone since September 2021. The expansive industrial sector is also in line with the increase in induced capacity of production. Related about the external sector. External sector, Indonesia have trade also continue to record a surplus since May 2020. Commodity downstreaming and import substitution through the policy of increasing domestic component level has succeeded in controlling import, so that the Indonesia trade balance is maintained in the surplus. The surplus in the trade balance encourages foreign exchange reserve to continue to increase. So it strengthens about that Indonesia external stability. Positive economic development is accompanied by the SDGs achievement that continue to improve. We know that SDGs is international commitment. And it followed by all the countries in the world. 63% or 140 indicators have been achieved by considerable progress on the environmental, legal and governance, and economic pillar. 14% or 31 indicators will be achieved or improved, and 23% or 53 indicators that require special attention and acceleration to get back on track. And this SDGs achievement is very important capital for Indonesia and crucial development stage toward Golden Indonesia 2045. We know now Bappenas has formulated about the long-term plan from 2025 until 2045. And 2045 is our dream, on our golden moment for Indonesia. And this is about that how to very strong capital bring optimism toward golden to Indonesia 2045. We have a dream, as I mentioned before, to escape from the middle income trap, because now Indonesia has trapped 30 years in the middle income trap, that we want to break it. And how to the strategy is about that, how Indonesia must grow an average 6 until 2% sustainability. So we have two scenario. If we can achieve 5%, we will lose about that escape the middle income trap before 2045. But if we can achieve 6% average about the growth, we can achieve in 2041. And if we want a higher growth about the 7%, we can escape middle income trap in before 2040. So there is about the scenario that we want to imply. And higher growth is accompanied by the shift in the economic structure to stronger high value added. The economy has to shift the higher value added sector, as well as creating more complex diversification through industrial sector as the main engine of growth. Hence, the role of the manufacturing can reach 28% of GDP by the end of 2045, with an average growth by 6.9%. Since the Indonesia have a large population country, shifting the economic structure is expected to create a lot of middle class jobs, up to 80% in 2045. Now, the distribution of Indonesian workers still most works in agriculture and retail trade sector, the sector that we have to move or to shift to become more productive. Meanwhile, workers in manufacturing industry sector are in the third position. In the long term, number of workers in Indonesia middle income job must be increased to encourage and accelerate the achievement of GNI per capita equivalent that of the high income countries. We have a dream in 2045. Our GNI per capita will be 23,000 until the 30,000 US dollar per capita in the GNI per capita. Furthermore, Indonesia must be able to optimize the potential of its domestic resources. There's various potential, including opportunities for the future trends, community-based downstreaming opportunity for the international market expansion, and better equitable development policies. For example, the implementation of the resource optimizing about that nickel downstreaming. We have nickel reserve as one of the highest in the world. The potential nickel reserve is an important capital for Indonesia to increase economic value added through community-based downstreaming. The downstream nickel is very crucial because it is an important mineral in supporting the electric vehicle battery ecosystem. In the future, economic development will also be accompanied by clean energy transition in line with the net zero emission 2060. Indonesia has actually implemented various new renewable energy potential, but there are still opportunity to improve for the improvement in them. Apart from that, the use of new renewable energy must also be accompanied by development energy storage to ensure energy availability and flexibility under any condition. I think, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now Indonesia is currently preparing long and medium-term development plan, as I mentioned before, and the contribution of the economy for the contribution of the academics and expert is extremely urgent to sharpen about the future policy direction. So we can together to achieve Golden Indonesia 2045. I think there is the material that we can share with you. Hopefully, we can provide a big picture about the Indonesia's current development and about our dream in the future, Golden Indonesia 2045. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a wonderful keynote speech. I think this was a speech which showed us the way of Golden Indonesia 2045. And this was a wonderful presentation by you with a lot of data and a plan. You spoke about how Indonesia is coming out of this middle income trap and what is the growth rate plan. And it was a detailed presentation, and it was so nice to know how much detailing is done at your end for coming out of this middle income trap, which you talked about, and have a Golden Indonesia in 2045. You also spoke about resources and, most importantly, environment, how Indonesia is keeping the environment issues with this growth plan which has. Also about the academic contributions, which is very necessary for this. Now I want the participants to ask questions. If you have, you can ask questions by writing in the chat, or just raise your hand. I'll open your mic and let you ask the questions. So anyone who has questions, please write in chat, or you can raise the hands. Sir, before these questions come, let me ask you a question from my side. See, I'm speaking from India and academician in India. I see a lot of similarities between Indonesia and India, because they both are developing nation. They both have plans, like you have a Golden Indonesia plan of 2045. India also has a same growth plan. And as you talk about China, uh, which is obviously a growth engine in Asia, but it is somehow underperforming. So how do you look at this region as the next growth engine, whereas India, Indonesia, they contribute to the world? And what is the synergies that these two countries can have, or the countries in this region like Bangladesh, Pakistan, other countries like Sri Lanka, they can come together and probably be the next growth engine of this world? And I'll also ask the other participants. In the meanwhile, you can raise your hands or write your questions in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please.
Can I answer now your
Yes, sir.
question?
Please. Please,
Okay,
sir.
thank you very much. Actually, we have learned a lot from the India. I think India have a long-term plan, yeah. And there are several countries such as like India, South Korea, China. China have and Emirate Arabs. The United Arab have a Sentinel plan. I think we have the similarity because first about that we have a large population, sir. As our projection in 2045, Indonesia has about the population about the 324 million about the population, and I know that this is very potential resources to growth, and we know about that. Indonesia, about the population, we have concern about that related about aging population. So why in Indonesia wants to escape from the income trap before 2045? This is for 2045, not only 1 year after independence year, because we have independence about the 1945. 100 years is 2045. Not only that, but this is the momentum, how we can use about that productive, what we call it, productive population. After 2045, we will lose about that momentum. That's why our target is very high, as because if we look at about that a trend, maybe our growth is only around the 5%. I think it's not enough to escape from the middle income trap before 2045. We have reached about average about 6 until 7% about the annual growth. I think this is not easy because there's this is that's why we have a different paradigm. So before we have like a conventional plan, but now we have to transform. We have three pillars about the transformation. First, about the social transformation. This is related about the health, education, and about the how to protect about that people. And the second one, economic transformation, as I mentioned before, that we have about that how to make a productive. Economic transformation means that how to shifting about that from the within sector and the shifting about the another sectors. I think, and the last one about that governance. And we see about the India, Bangladesh. I think we have a like a similarity. First about the population, the second one about maybe we can have a relationship between India and Indonesia. For example, like education. I think the India have a very good education that we can share a lot about that. And the second one, we can see about that we can learn related a long-term plan to the South Korea, because South Korea in the 1916 we have the same level, but now they have become advanced country. So maybe we have learn about that. Most important thing we can learn from India and Korea Selatan about the research and development. That's why in the last slide we want to emphasize about the research and development, and what we call it, which education we want to push, like a STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's my explanation. Sorry if there is
Okay.
it is enough or not.
No, sir. Thank you. I think a wonderful explanation. And really, you are showing the path not only for Indonesia, but for other developing countries like us or other developing countries. Sir, we have a lot of academicians and students who have joined this conference from across the world, from different countries. What is your message to them, especially to the academicians and the students, to look for example, the students, they are going to start their career in probably next 1 year, and they will be the part of this growth which will come in next 10 years or 5 years. So what is your message to them across world, across countries, who are in the same situation, what they should be doing, what should academicians should be doing, and what the academic institutions like us and AIBPM, they should be doing in probably next 5 years? So kindly show us that path and that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rudresh. First about the academician, because as we know, we have a big dream in 2045, but we have to set into several stages. Is it not instant to achieve that one? So about that, we have 4 stages. We divide into 5 years. So the first stages is the 2025 until 2029, and we will build the foundation about that. So for the academician, maybe now maybe we are familiar about the mismatch between education and the real market. So maybe the academician, maybe we can you can update about how to make a link between the school curriculum and the market. And the second one for the student, I think is very useful if we will try to set about that, not become only you want to work as what, but to be entrepreneur. Because we want to, if we even though we set about the industry as a main growth of economy, but we want to make a link between industry and the small medium enterprise. So this is a value chain between the small medium enterprise and industry. So I hope all students not become only a worker, but entrepreneur. And we will try to how to set about that, what we call it, trying to adapt a new game changer, such as about the technology and something like that. Yeah. So small medium enterprise become as a value chain to build industry. So I think this very important for us. I think this is the short comment about your question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And I think you very rightly said that there is a mismatch between industry and the academician. There is, in fact, a gap, which is industry academia gap, which we all should. And we also face this problem in India. That there is a gap, and we lot of time when we are teaching in the classes, we find this gap in the curriculum, in the in the way we are teaching, and we do face this problem when we find out ways. And probably this is where associations like AIBPM and their members can come in and help academic institutions. You also spoke about students, and this is a very important that students should look at entrepreneurships and they should generate jobs. They should be the growth engine in next coming few years. And in fact, I will take this note on behalf of AIBPM, on behalf of Professor Lim, that we probably should focus on entrepreneurship workshops, international entrepreneurship workshops, where on behalf of industry, where AIBPM starts entrepreneurship workshops and show the students how they can come in and they can have a business plan which is international, and they can have where India and Indonesia and other countries are coming together and helping those students who are those who are entrepreneurs. Also about you spoke about small and medium industry, how technology and probably coming artificial intelligence and all those technology which is coming up, it is very important for these small industries to associate with them. So this is a very important speech, sir. I think, and you have shown us the way. And if I don't see any questions here, so probably we'll wait when all the keynote speakers finish, and then we can come back to you, sir, and have more questions and have more discussions. So, and congratulations for a fantastic speech and showing us, and thank you for showing us the way forward and how AIBPM and the students and the institution should be working. So this was a wonderful speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our second speaker, Dr. Gan Kia Hui from INTI International College, Penang, Malaysia. Dr. Gan Kia Hui Dr. Gan Kia Hui is the head of program Center of Australian Degree Programs, CADP, come lecturer at INTI International College, Penang. She holds a PhD from USM. Her study focuses on organizational behavior and management, as well as psychological safety climate. She has 8 years of experience teaching in higher education institutes. Her area of expertise in project management, organizational behavior, management science, business environment simulation projects, and other management papers. She won the Best Paper Award in the first International Youth Conference in 2021. Dr. Hui, the time is yours, and welcome to this conference.
Thank you, Dr. Rudresh. Good morning, everyone. I will share the slide by myself.
Yes, please, Dr. Gan.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay. So, can see my slide, right?
Yes, we can see your
Yes, we can see your slide, Professor. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, especially to our extreme organizer, AIBPM, distinguished keynote speakers, and all participants. My name is Dr. Gan Kia Hui from INTI International College, Penang. I'm honored to stand here to share with you a most important topic about the economy resilience and global competitiveness, the role of the education transformation in Malaysia. In a country progress, the education system is crucial. It shapes our nation dreams, nurture ideas, and spark the society change. The Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 until 2025 is more than a document. It's a roadmap guiding us towards a future where the education is not just a tool, but a beacon for our nations to be success. Let's dive into the heart of the matter. The Malaysia Education Blueprint set the stage for a rapid and sustainable transformation of our education system until 2025, with a commitment evidence in a budget of 250 million in 2024. Our goal is to enhance Wi-Fi coverage across all the public universities, ensuring that education is not just accessible but thriving in the digital age. So next, we will highlight the importance on the technological advancements. It is very important to recognize that the budget 2024 is significant more than just financial allocations. It represents a strategic investment in the future of our nations. By prioritizing the high-tech sectors such as artificial intelligence, aerospace, and the digitalizations, we position ourselves at the forefront of technological progress. These sectors, not only the pillars of the innovations, but also catalyze for the economic growth. This budget focus is a testament of our commitment to staying ahead in an ever-evolving global landscape. By leveraging the power of the technology, we aim to not only meet but exceed the expectation of a competitive world. This is not just about keeping it up, but it is about the setting the pace for the next wave of the advancements. Now, let's shift our attention to this slide, which is underscore the importance of the global competitiveness. The government belief is grounded in the understanding that high-ranked universities are not just academic institutions. They are the key player in the global arena. These universities become magnet. They can attracting international students, renewing the research, and fostering collaboration that transcend border. Our focus on achieving high ranking is not merely a pursuit of prestige. It's a strategy to bolster our nation's global standing. Universities with high ranking are often perceived as offering not only the quality of the education, but also as a hub for the cutting-edge research and innovations. These perceptions in turn attract foreign direct investment, creating a positive feedback loops of the growth and developments. As we move to the next slide, let's dive into the role of the high-ranking university in talent attractions and retentions. The essential here is that this institution act as a talent magnet, drawing in the best mind both domestically and internationally. The reputation of a strong university system become a driving force in retaining and developing skilled individuals, creating a workforce that is the bedrock of the economic growth and innovations. This is not just about the individual institution, but it also fostering a collective environment where the talent thrive by providing an ecosystem that nurtures the intellectual capital. We ensure not only the sustainability of our institution, but also the flourishing of our nation's intellectual prowess. To the next slide, we explore how our pursuit of the high rankings in the global education institution directly contributes. To the enhancements of our brand, the reputation of our education system as reflected in this ranking becomes a powerful ambassador for our nations. The reputation of our education system as reflective in this ranking becomes a powerful ambassador for our nations. A positive image attracts opportunities, whether it be in the tourism, cultural exchange, or international partnerships. Our brand is not merely a logo or slogan. It is a reflection of the quality, innovations, and commitment embedded in our education system. As we ascend the rank, we not only evaluate our education standard, but also amplify our global influence. A positive brand image become a catalyst for opportunity that extend far beyond the rim of the educations. Now we address the next slide, which is we want to highlight the critical aspect often overlooked, which is the well-being of our academic staff. The lecturers in the research university are the backbone of our education system, frequently face the higher level of the stress. They are exposed in the various factors and lead to the burnouts. Our data collection revealed to the structure, there are rooms for the improvement in the policy, practice, and the procedure to safeguard the academic staff from the burnout. It's not just about the numbers of the academic outputs, it's also to ensure that very individual shaping our future generation are equipped with the support they need to thrive. As we invest in the educations, we must also invest in the well-being of those driving the education engines. Our commitment extends beyond structure and technology. It encompasses the people who breathe life into our education institutions. Psychosocial safety climax, or the short terms recorded as the PSC, is a predictor of the psychosocial risk associated with the workplace demands and available resources. It's not just a concept. Actually, this is a strategy for the effective job design, creating additional job resources to mitigate the adverse effect of the job demands. We collect the responses from 484 participants across the 5 Malaysian RUs. We're using the Smart PRS software for the data analysis. This investigation centers on the role of the PRC as a job resources for the academic professionals. Our aim is to understand the potential in the enhancing job satisfactions and job performance, with work engagement acting as the mediator. This comprehensive approach allows us to glean insight into the interactive dynamic of the PSC within the Malaysian Research University, offering a nuanced perspective on how it influences the work-related outcomes. The finding emphasize the significant impact of the PSC is enhancing the overall well-being of the academic professional. At the heart of our investigation lies of the pivotal role of the PSC within the academic realms. We seek to unveil the profound impact as a job resources for our extreme academic professionals employed in Malaysia are used. The depth of our inquiry extends beyond mere analysis. We are delving into the very fabric of how PSC influence the job satisfactions and performance. And this then a back construct on the potential transformative power of the PSC is shaping in the work-related outcome of our academic professionals as we negative through the interaction of this research focus. Our aim is not only understand, but also provide insight that may pave the way for sustainable improvement in the academic landscape. In addition, this is broader into the profound impact our research seek to make on the education narrative of Malaysia. As we negative the transformative journey. The Malaysia Education Blueprint emerged not merely as a strategy, but is a symphony of the national progress. It's a living testament to our commitment to economic resilience and global competitiveness. Today, we stand at the intersections of the innovation and the inclusivity, where high-ranking universities are not just an institution, but categorized for the society evolutions. The blueprint is our guide, steering us towards a future where education isn't destination, but a preserve odyssey. So as we conclude, let's not just reflect, let's engage in a collective dialogue about the shaping a future where education is the cornerstone for our nation's dreams. In concluding our discussion, we stand on the precipice of a future where the Malaysia Education Blueprint is not merely a roadmap, but transformative force driving economic prosperity. Our collective commitment to advanced education, fostering innovations, and the priorities, the well-being of our academic professionals is integral to uplifting Malaysia economic landscape. As we wrap up today's discussion, let us remember that the blueprint not just about the education, is a strategy investment in Malaysia economic resilience and global competitive. Each streak in the education is a step towards economic advancement. So thank you everyone. This is a bit sharing about today's topic.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for such a wonderful speech and talking about a very important aspect of academics and education. Our last speaker, he was talking about how Golden Indonesia dream of 2045 and how much academics and academic institutions are important in this role. And you spoke about the economic resilience and global transformation and how academic institutions are performing their role. You spoke about Malaysian education blueprint and what is the role here? What are the budgets that you have and what are the priority sectors in Malaysian education blueprint? You also spoke about the ranking, how much important rankings are for education institute. Rankings play an important role in the image and a lot of benefits which come, a lot of talents is attracted when an institution is highly ranked. Also, you spoke a very important aspect of psychosocial safety, which is important for the teachers and psychological. So I invite questions here from the speaker. If anyone has a question, yes, I have a question here from Swan. So he is asking about stress level and technological progress does impact on student performance. So, Dr. Hui, the question here is that the stress level, students have a lot of stress. I also see there are a lot of performance stress they have. And the technology is also taking a very fast pace these days. You have new technologies which are coming up. So what is the impact these two things, the stress and the technological progress, has on students' performance? And I will add my part to this, how they should deal with this. So, Professor Hui.
Okay, so let me conclude. Your question is the student have the stress plus the technology advance. Is it correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so nowadays we were talking about the technology, especially the ChatGPT. Nowadays, the student know how to use it, right? So as a lecturer, we'll be more burdens to checking the level of the quality of the students. So when come to this, the best way is actually technology can guide the student to reduce their burdens. Example, some of the students, they don't have the confidence to ask the lecturer in front. Maybe they can use some technology to share some guideline about the topic. So based on the guideline, they have the deep understanding a bit. So based on what they're finding, they can look for the advice from the lecturers. So from here, technology is actually is a, for me, is the advantage for both party, which is can guide the student have the independent study. At the same time, they can have more times to understand actually what the topic talking about. So if for me, how to reduce the stress from the student part is we not only depends to the technology, at the same times we need to think how we use the technology as our study tools.
Okay, I think a very important suggestion from you. I also want to ask you, it's a question from me, Professor Hui, that what institutions can do together to improve their ranking? What are your suggestions? For example, institution like us, when I'm sitting in Delhi in India and you in Penang, Malaysia, we can come together and probably work to improve our rankings, because ranking these days is international and there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of fierce competition when it comes to ranking. So what is your suggestions to these institutions and the role AIBPM can play in this? So please throw some light on these issues. Thank you.
So thanks for the question. Actually, AIBPM is a great platform to gather all the academicians all around the world together cooperate for the paper. One of the project AIBPMs did a well job is they have the international supervisor to guiding the all students together. So from there we can cooperate to publish a lot of the papers. Besides that one, through the guiding the students, actually is the progress to enhance our student skills is how to cooperate with other nations people and we learn the culture from each other. So from here indirectly, we can improve our college ranking. At the same times, as a supervisor, we know each other, we can cooperate to write some paper, to do some publications, which is the win-win situations. Unmute your mic.
Okay, I'm really sorry for this. So I think it's a very good idea. And yes, because I myself was the part of the Nusantra project, and I really have seen that students have generated a lot of interest in research. Generally, they are not interested in research, but with this project, they have generated a lot of students have generated interest in research, and they have published papers. They have published good quality papers. I see and congratulate AIBPM in publishing. If you look at those papers which these students have produced, they are really very good quality, and most important, they are international research. So students are doing research through AIBPM when the students coming from different countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria, Pakistan, when they are coming and they are doing international research. I think this is a wonderful way to move ahead in countries like us when we are dreaming of future. India also has a new education policy, and you also spoke about how you are transforming your education system and how the new thoughts in educations are coming in, and they are transforming the education. So I think a wonderful presentation, and congratulations, Professor Hui, for this presentation and coming back to us. And if I'll just check if I have any more questions here. So I'll ask the people who have joined, students, teachers. I want you to ask questions, talk to our speakers, and use this platform as to enhance your knowledge. You can just raise your hands. I'll see and I'll let you speak, or maybe you can just write a question, a very small question in the chat box also, and I'll read that question for you. So I think this is all. But Professor, we will come back to you when we have all the uh, keynote speakers finish their speech, and then probably we'll take other questions which we have, and we'll move ahead with the discussion. So thank you and congratulations for your wonderful speech and bringing out a very important aspect of teaching and academics, that is the psychosocial safety and psychological safety. So probably this is the most important aspect that we are discussing today here. So thank you. Thank you for your speech. So
Thank you, Doctor.
thank you, ma'am. So I'll now move to our next keynote speaker, Dr. Ranu Jain from Sydenham's Institute of Management Studies and Research, Entrepreneurship, Education in India. And Dr. Ranu Jain, with experience of more than 12 years in teaching and capital market, is a gold medalist in masters and holds a PhD in capital market. She is associated with well-known Sydenham's Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai, as a faculty of finance since 2015. Dr. Jain has been working with SEBI, which is a very important organization in India, a regulator for all the stock exchange, BSC, which is Bombay Stock Exchange, which is the main stock exchange here, and IICA in the field of financial literacy since 2016, and has educated various sectors of society, both in rural and urban. She has been active in research and has various national and international publications to her credit. So, Dr. Jain, welcome. Welcome to this platform. And the time is yours. You can continue now.
Sorry, Dr. Rudresh, for Dr. Ranujan will join in 5 minutes because
Sure.
the internet connection is bad.
Okay.
So she will join as soon as possible. Thank you, Dr. Rudresh.
Sure. So, should we wait, or we can continue? I think we can wait for a few minutes.
Yes,
Is
we
that
can
okay?
wait for a few minutes. She
Okay.
will join as soon as possible. Thank you, Dr. Rudresh.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Aulia. So, I think anyone of you has any other questions, so you can ask. I think this whole conference is taking a very good turn here, and there's the speakers, all the speakers and the opening remarks which we had has shown us a lot of way here. And in the meanwhile, before Dr. Jain joins, I want to tell you that AIBPM is a very important platform which is doing a lot of international collaborations. So any of you who's interested in international collaboration, in international research, if you want to have exchange programs, if you want to have research, if you individually are writing a research paper, so why don't you make that research paper an international research paper and bring people from different countries? And this is where AIBPM will help you. Just reach out to us, just ask us for help, and we will arrange a lot of international researchers for you. If you want to visit different countries, for example, if you are in Indonesia, if you are in Malaysia, if you are in Sri Lanka and you want to come to India, I will help you. And if any of the Indian institutions, they want to go to these different countries and have student exchanges, have faculty exchange programs, this is where AIBPM will help you. So AIBPM is a very important platform. I think we should be using more of AIBPM. And I want to thank all the people who are involved, especially Professor Lim, who has been working very hard to have these programs. And as the last speaker said, that that Nusantara project has helped their students. It has helped my students also in giving them an international perspective, and they add a lot of international experience, and it helps them when they go to the industry to look for jobs and to start their careers. And as the first speaker said, that we should be focusing more on entrepreneurial aspects also, that the student should not only become the job seekers, they should also the people who should be generating jobs. And I see a lot of similarities between countries who are present here, who are developing countries. They have their own vision, they want to develop. For example, India has its own plan mm, for next 25 years. And in the same way, Malaysia is also planning for 2045, which in which they will have 100 years of uh, their independence. And they want to have a developed country, a developed Indonesia. And the same way, when we finish our 75 years of or 100 years of independence, like India is also planning, when we finish our 100 years of independence, we want to be a developed country. We want to come out of this middle income trap. And education institutes, people like you who are listening, can do a lot of your contribution here. So this is, I think, a very important aspect and a very important role which AIBPM is playing. So I'll just check whether Dr. Jan has joined, and you can just give us a few minutes before we have the next speaker. There's some technical problem at her end, some internet issue. So I'll just check.
I'm sorry, Dr. Rudresh. Dr. Ranu still have a issue with her internet connection, so we will wait for a minute. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay, no issues. We can wait. We can
Thank you.
always wait to hear good speakers. I think uh, thank you for moderating this and being the um, MC and doing your job so well.
Thank you.
We have a lot of participants here. We have more than 100 participants who are participating online from different countries. So I welcome you all and thank you. And with a lot of time difference, for example, in India, it's early morning here and people have joined. So that's a amazing and wonderful thing to see. And we have people from across globe. We have people from across countries who have joined here. And in the meanwhile, any one of you has any questions, or just keep writing those questions on the chat box and just letting me know that if you want to interact with the speakers. And maybe in the end of the speech, I'll take those questions and ask um, those questions to the speakers. So that will be here.
Dr. Rudresh, maybe we can answer the question from the audience to question for Dr. Gan. I think in the chat box there is two questions for Dr. Gan, and we can answer one of the question.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Thank
I
you.
think that's it. Okay. Okay, Dr. Gan, please, I'll come back to you. And I have one more question. Thank you. Thank you for this help. So, I think one question we have already discussed, which we have. There's one more question, which is to increase campus resilience, how do you encourage lecturers to get involved in this program? What lecture involvement is needed to increase brand image? I think a very wonderful question. And first of all, congratulations to the person who has asked this question. I think so. Campus resilience, the energy in the campus. How do teachers bring that energy when they are doing their lectures? And the lecturer involvement, what kind of involvement is needed when it comes to students, and how to improve the brand image? So a lot of questions in one question, Professor. So I hope you will throw some light on this. Please, ma'am.
Hi everyone. So to answer these questions, as mentioned just now by Dr. Rudresh just now, right? Actually, we are encourage more lecturers is join AIBPM this platform. This is a very great platform for networking. Okay, why networking is very important because this is the connection which is the lecturer can contribute. When we have the collaboration with the papers, right? Or as a international supervisor in the Nusantara project, when the paper published, we'll label our college name as well, our university names. So indirectly, we can improve our university reputations. Second is the student engagement. Actually, student engagement with the lecturer is very important. When the student can engage more with the lecturer, means that they have the confidence with the university, which is can bring out more beneficial knowledge and support to the student. As our first speaker mentions, we not only encourage our students can come out, have the ability to work. If can, we want everyone become entrepreneur, which is can direct have the economic growth impact for the country. So one more suggestion from myself is maybe we can do have the professional development opportunities. So beside in our area, we can attend more conference or we learn more some skills. At the same time, we can help our college to do some resilience, not only focus on our area. At the same time, maybe we can cross the area and have the cooperation between the colleague and the university together. I hope I answered the questions.
Yes. It was a great answer, I think, and wonderful. So, how do you take up these issues in your institution? Because you also have a very good image and good brand and a growing institution. So how do you take any special efforts or anything different which you do to collaborate with other institutions and improve the relations between students and teachers, and probably have more resilience in the institution? So what are your experiences and what special things you are doing at your campus? I want to know your personal experience also.
Okay, so from my side is besides, I bring my student to join the Nusantara project. At the same time, we have the GBS Boots Camp, which is our university will organize the boots camps. Then we will invite our industry partners to join us. Then they will provide our student the real case study in the world. So from there, the student can identify the case study, exposed to more the realistic. So from here, indirectly, we enhance our students' skills, so which is recognized by the industry. So from here, we also can help our university to improve our ranking, because we know that through the collaborations, not only with the other university can improve, at the same time, we also enhance our students' soft skill and the analysis skill for that. So actually, we got a few industry partners. They're very engaged with our university because we can provide some platforms to have the both party win-win situations.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a great idea when you have real case studies coming up, and students going to the industry and they are looking at problems and coming back. And a project like Nusantra can give this international exposure. So I think it's a great idea, and probably in future we'll see more interaction where my institution and your institution come together. We have more exchange programs, and probably your students coming to us and our students coming going to you. So so that's a wonderful thing to have, and probably more publications of research paper from the academicians as well as from students. So that will be a great way to move forward, I suppose. And what good thing, Professor, I see here is that institutions and especially have a lot of things in common together when it comes to developing countries like India, Indonesia, and different countries. So we all are focusing on, let's say, you spoke about rankings, you spoke about research, and the gap between the industry and the academician. We all have same problems here, and we are looking how to improve resilience, how to improve the participation, student participation. So we have all those, and we are all focusing on our education system. India is coming up with a new education policy. You have a new framework where you are changing the education framework. So there are a lot of common things. So I hope we all can come together as institutions and work towards a common goal for our institutions as well as for our nations. So thank you for answering this question. Yeah. Again, we'll come back to you at the end of all the speakers here. So, and we are waiting for Dr. Jain to have. Uh, uh, okay, I think we have Dr. Jain with us.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am, you're audible. And thank you for joining.
I'm very sorry
And
that
we
you
are,
have to wait, but
no issues,
some
ma'am. We
genuine
are always
problems at my end.
yes, yes, we can understand. We all face similar problems when it comes to technology. Technology is changing so fast. So I think we can wait for you. And please take your time to start.
Sure. So, a warm, beautiful morning and a happy morning on this wonderful day. And I heard few earlier speakers as well, and a great discussion. Thank you to the organizers for inviting me. And briefly, we'll start. Just let me share my screen.
The presentation is not coming, Dr. Jain. There is a, I think, a network issue. So Dr. Jain, we are not able to hear you. I think we have lost the contact again. So we'll just wait for a few minutes. So in the meanwhile, you all can go to chat and look at the message which is from AIBPM that about the Nusantra project. So if you are a academician, if you are a teacher, so you can join this. If you are teaching international business, international marketing, or any of the international, or in your course, if you want to give an international exposure. Okay, I think we have the speaker with us now.
So,
We still are not able to hear. We're not able to hear you, Professor Jain, because your voice is breaking. So I think there is some.
For fundamental analysis.
No, we're not able to hear you.
Sorry, Dr. Rudresh, Dr. Ranu. Maybe Dr. Ranu Jain, can you share your PPT to the officer, the organizer, so we can help to show your PPT.
Okay, then sorry, I'm very sorry. Sure. Okay, sure. And maybe you can take up this next connect to the next. Give me.
Okay, so we'll wait for a few minutes. I think there's some technical issues, and I hope everyone will understand. We all face such kind of problems when it comes to technology, and the conference is going great right now. And there's been two very good speakers which we have heard since morning, and we are waiting for more. So. Okay, Alicia, can we? I think Dr. Ranu Jain has written in the. Okay, she's going to join from the other system. Probably she has some problem.
Okay, Dr. Rudresh, we will wait for the next keynote speaker, Dr. Paul Gadi, to join this meeting, and he will start the presentation after this.
Okay, so if he joins, just let me know, and
okay, sure.
probably we can invite.
Sure,
Or
Dr.
till then, we can wait for Dr. Ranu Jain.
Okay, thank you.
Just please inform her that we are waiting and we can.
Sure, thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Rudresh.
thank you, Alicia. Thank you for doing this wonderful job. So I hope every one of you has knows about the projects which AIBPM is taking, and probably you can help us. You can join us, and these are all free of cost. That also, let me tell you that this whole Nusantra project has no fees. So and it's a wonderful effort from AIBPM, Professor Lim, Era, Alicia. These people, they do a wonderful job when it comes to international collaborations and um, uh, organizing conferences like this. So I hope we'll have more projects coming up with from AIBPM, and okay, I think we'll just have a 5 minutes break, and um, and we'll come back after 5 minutes. So don't log out. Be there. We'll just get you some music, probably. Good music. AIBPM has a very good music collection that I can tell you from my experience. And whosoever, probably Alicia is doing that. So Alicia, you have a very good taste in music. so we can hear some music in probably next 5 minutes. So just wait for 5 minutes, and we will have the next speaker. So, Alicia, you can take over.
Yes, sir. Please wait. We will have a short break now. So, to the audience, we're really sorry for the inconvenience. So please wait until the next keynote speaker join.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it is just for 5 minutes. You just don't go away. Just
Yes.
enjoy the music, which probably Alicia will give us. And very good collection you have, Alicia. So please show us some music.
Small talk, no conversation. That look makes me impatient. I can't tell what you're thinking. Please tell me what you're thinking. Last night we were more than fine. Just tell me if you changed your mind. If you changed your mind. Cause I'm all in. I'm calling, no answer. But you text me when you feel like, when it feels right to you. But I'm all in, I'm falling faster. But if you're looking at me with the heart of doubt, don't kiss me right now. Don't tell me that you need me. Don't show up at my house all caught up in your feelings. Don't run me round and round. Don't build me up just to let me down. Just to let me down, down, down. Don't mess with my head. Don't tell me you're falling with your feet still on the ledge. I'm all out of breath. Baby, don't run me round and round. Don't kiss me, no, don't kiss me right now. On your lips, just leave it if you don't mean it. Yeah. You know you got me in the palm of your hand, but I love those hands. Oh, yeah. But you only let me hold you when he can. Yeah, I don't understand. Cause I'm all in. I'm calling, no answer. But you text me when you feel like, when it feels right to you. But I'm all in. I'm falling faster. But if you're looking at me with the heart of doubt, don't kiss me right now. Don't tell me that you need me. Don't show up at my house all caught up in your feelings. Don't run me round and round. Don't build me up just to let me down. Just to let me down, down, down. Hey, don't mess with my head. Don't tell me you're falling with your feet still on the ledge. I'm all out of breath. Baby, don't run me round and round. Don't kiss me, no, don't kiss me right now. On your lips, just leave it if you don't mean it. Hurry home, let's never leave the house. But you don't mean it. Saying that all our friends go out. But you don't mean it. Why you let those words come out of your mouth? If you don't mean it. You've been staring at me with the heart of doubt. Don't kiss me right now. Don't tell me that you need me. Don't show up at my house all caught up in your feelings. Don't run me round and round. Don't build me up just to let me down. Just to let me down, down, down. Don't mess with my head. Don't tell me you're falling with your feet still on the ledge. I'm all out of breath. Baby, don't run me round and round.
Okay, so welcome back everyone for this, and we had a break, a refreshing break, probably. And thank you for the music, Alicia. And maybe apart from those research papers, I'll ask you for your music files also, which you have. So, so now we can start with our next speaker who has joined us. And welcome, Dr. Paul, here. And then we'll have Dr. Jain here, who faced some problem. So let me introduce Dr. Paul. Dr. Paul Dung Gadi is a senior research fellow at the Department of Business Administration and Management, Plateau State Polytechnic, Barkin, Ladi. His area of interest are human resources management, organizational behavior, entrepreneurship, and organizational research. He holds a PhD in Business Administration and Management from School of Management, University Sans Malaysia. He earned an MBA from the Faculty of Management Sciences, University of Jos, MSc Business Administration, NSUK. He has published good number of journal papers during course of his career. He has conducted a series of training related to entrepreneurship development and research at Plateau State Polytechnic, Barkin. Dr. Paul, the time is yours and welcome at this conference. Please unmute yourself, Dr. Paul. There's still some problem with the voice. See if you can check your mic.
Thank you for the kind introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we can hear you. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good morning to the good people of Indonesia. It is my pleasure and kind introduction to share my research work in this WIMAYA Conference 2023. My work is on work stress. Can I share my slides?
Yes, please go ahead, Dr. Paul. Please go ahead.
The research work, what I intend to share with the audience today is the mediating effect of job stress and the relationship between family work-life balance and job satisfaction of nurses, a PLS SIM approach, a Nigerian perspective. Employees that are happy with their job reports feelings this way about their work-life, my job, I hate my job. Employees that are unhappy at work may abandon their position, frequent complain, rebel, steal from the firm, abandon some of their duties, and take other actions.
Very sorry for the interruption, Dr. Paul. If you can just make the presentation in the full screen, I think that will be great. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. It is now full screen. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Employees that are unhappy at work may abandon their position. Frequent complaints, rebels, steals from their firm, abandon some of their duties, and take other action. Especially in Nigeria today, that we have a lot of issues. People are living conditions of service right from the first 4 years. Things are not easy, and the research work tends to focus on this area because most Nigerians today are not happy with what they are doing. They are trying to look for a better work because of the job stress, lack of satisfaction. According to Wijaya and Suwandana, job satisfaction is crucial because employees play a major role in determining whether organizational actions are successful or unsuccessful. In order to foster strong discipline, commitment, and morale among employees, job satisfaction must be maximized. This is a challenge for developing countries like Nigeria, especially in this time of difficult times in Nigeria. Therefore, the purpose of this paper is to examine the relationship between family work-life balance and nurses' job satisfaction in the healthcare industry in Nigeria. Additionally, to examine the mediating effect of job stress on the relationship between family work-life balance and job satisfaction. Social exchange theory provides an explanatory framework to clarify how employees' perception of family work-life balance is linked to job satisfaction. Work-life balance is expected to create a condition that is fulfilling and meaningful that employees will reciprocate in the form of high job satisfaction. The present study proposed that if an organization demonstrates goodwill and support through its HR practices that create a good work-life balance, then its employees will be more disposed to reciprocate by less job stress and high job satisfaction. Lack of sufficient research efforts in Nigeria towards examining mediators in work-life balance phenomena is a glaring gap which has potentially undermined the development of knowledge based on the subject that needs urgent attention. Glasso and others. The research looks at different variables to enhance a different aspect of social exchange. Based on the research methodology, respondents in this study amounted to 238 nurses who work in federal teaching hospitals in Nigeria. The researcher employed partial least square PLS modeling with the Adanko 2.01 edition as the statistical tool to assess the measurement and structural model. Based on our statistical tool for analyzing the minimum sample size, we got the minimum sample size of 120, but after administering questionnaire, I got 238, which was analyzed. I used the non-probability sampling and purposive sampling for collecting data because all the nurses from the federal university shares the same characteristics. To test the mediation, the researcher followed suggestions of Preacher and Hess 2004 and 2008 by bootstrapping the indirect effect, as shown in Table 6. Work-life balance, job stress, job satisfaction. The beta value was 0.0687 and p-value 0.3, which was significant. The confidence interval bias corrected 90% also did not show any intervals straddling at 0, though confirming our findings. Thus, hypothesis 3 was supported. Based on the hypothesis, we have 4 hypotheses: work-life balance to job satisfaction, which was supported; work-life balance to job stress, which was supported; and job stress to job satisfaction was supported. Based on the results, work-life balance seemed to be able to affect job satisfaction for nurses because married nurses need a balance both in their workplace and in their non-work life. Work-life balance can help nurses face 2 or more demands that must be met by them and can help nurses maintain pleasant and positive feelings towards their work, which will then have a positive effect on their job satisfaction. The findings of this study are consistent with the results of research by Sif, Malik, and Awan, 2011, on job satisfaction and work-life balance, which shows that there is a positive but not significant relationship between job satisfaction and work-life balance. Other studies that support the results of this study are research by Arif and Farigi, 2014, on work-life balance, organizational commitment, and job satisfaction, which provide that there is a positive and significant relationship between work-life balance and job satisfaction. The same study on work-life balance, job satisfaction, and organizational commitment on healthcare staff was done by Azim and Attar, 2014. According to the findings of this study, work-life balance, organizational commitment, and job satisfaction are all positively and significantly correlated. Organizations can implement, in conclusion, organizations can implement HR practices or policy. From the analysis that has been done, it appears that the role of work-life balance on job satisfaction can be mediated through work stress. This means that work-life balance can increase job satisfaction by reducing work stress. First, a low work-life balance can reduce job satisfaction because it can increase work stress. Organizations can implement HR practices or policies that aim to increase job satisfaction, to lessen workplace stress among employees. For instance, by fostering a more positive work environment, minimizing workload or demands, or offering self-development opportunities to help staff members manage their stress. Especially in Nigeria today, people are finding it very difficult to meet their family needs and to balance their work with the demands of the family. So this research tried to focus on how the families or management can see areas that they can be able to reduce work stress so that it will enable work balance and people can be able to perform based on when they are satisfied with what they are doing. To lessen workplace stress among employees, for instance, by fostering a more positive work environment, minimizing workload or demands, or offering self-development to help staff members manage their stress better. Establishment can also support individuals to have a better work-life balance by passing family-friendly organizational policies, such as flexible working hours and so on. In Nigeria, we know that we don't have flexible working hours. Sometimes people work from morning, no break times, start work from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and it is more stressful because the little that people earn cannot meet up, and people try to work from different areas to see they can be able to meet up their family needs, and the stress is most, and people today in one area with the job stress and others, they are slumming, dying in their offices. So I believe this research can be able to help in terms of providing solutions to people, to organizations, to the government, in trying to see how we can improve a better working conditions for people in terms of work-life balance. Subsequent research involve other variables can also examine effectiveness of stress management to reduce work stress and increase employees' job satisfaction. Stress management is here related to stress due to the work-family interface, which causes the disruption of work-life balance. So the research in general try to see the mediating role of job stress on the relationship between work-life balance and job satisfaction, which we believe that when employees have a well organizational policies that encourage, provides, and gives them a good work-life balance, it will reduce job stress. And when it reduces job stress, it will increase job satisfaction. And when there is job satisfaction, we believe that performance of employees is going to be high. The family are going to be happy with their spouse and their relations. Thank you for listening to this short presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. I think a very, very relevant topic which you have been talking here. I think you can remove the presentation, sir. I think this was a great topic and a very important topic which we have here. Sir, I'll just ask you to adjust your camera. If you can just bring it more closer. So and that will help us in getting a better view. So if you can bring the camera more closer, that will be fine, because right now it is not coming. Okay. So, so sir, we have questions also here, and I think it's a very relevant which where you spoke about job stress, you spoke about work-life balances, and you have shown our research, your research, which has been done in Nigeria on the nurses and the working condition, and you spoke of general conditions. In fact, we all are facing the same problem. We in India also have similar problems like you face in Nigeria. And there's a lot to be done when it comes to working conditions, when it comes to job stress and work-life balances. So there's a lot of issues in these areas which need to be resolved. So I just want to ask you one question, then we'll start taking the questions from the audience, which they have already started asking questions to you. So what are your suggestions, sir, in this? And what were your suggestions after this research which you had, that what should be done? And if you can suggest us also, for example, companies and academic institutions in India, Indonesia, Malaysia, what should be done to reduce these kind of stress which are there? You have already spoken of few things, but if you can just summarize and tell us what are the main issues and what can be done for this.
Yes, what can be done to reduce the work-life balance We know that in Nigeria today, basically, we have a challenge that there is high rate of inflation today, that an exchange rate which was 300, 400 naira to a dollar today is 1,200 naira to a dollar. Meaning, if you earn 400,000 in Nigeria, which the highest nurses earn today in Nigeria is amounting to just less than $300 compared to the rest of the world. It means people have to go out, start looking for other jobs, work all through to meet up their family needs. To address this problem, I believed if Nigeria can provide a better working by increasing workers' salaries, working on the economy, so that the little you earn, you have more time to relax, more time to give to your family, and better working conditions from organizations, reduce work hours. We can work remotely from our homes, which Nigeria has not actually embraced. We have people that travel more than 6 hours to their workplace, which is not convenient. And the mode of transportation in Nigeria is not really convenient for people to travel because the roads are bad. And in the course of transporting yourself to your workplace, coming back daily, it is quite difficult. That we believe that this has affected even employees' work-life balance. And in the last few days, I picked this topic because it's a topic of interest that we have virtually nurses, doctors traveling out of Nigeria that became a slogan that they call it Japan, that everybody wants to leave Nigeria because the working conditions are not really palatable and people are not finding it easy.
Yes, sir. I think it's a wonderful and really a problem. Traveling, lot of traveling happens. In India also, we travel a lot to commute. Daily commuting is a problem. It's adding to the work stress. I have a question here from Dr. Subhashish Sen. And thank you, first of all, Dr. Subhashish, for asking this question. And he has suggested a very good thing, which is he says that can we coin a term or a purpose, a sustainable work-life balance? I think work-life balance we all talk about, but calling it a sustainable work-life balance is something which is very important here. And it differs from organization because all different organizations have different cultures, work cultures. So what is your take on this? Because what he's trying to ask is that different organizations is having different cultures and they have different works also. For example, you have done a research on nurses, and I am from an academic institution. I work in an academic institution. So there is obviously a difference between work here and this. So how to make work-life balance more sustainable? And can we call it a sustainable work-life balance? And probably maybe in your next research paper, we all collaborate and maybe Dr. Subhashis will also collaborate and we come up with a solution to have more sustainable work-life balance. So what are your inputs in making work-life balance more sustainable, sir? And across organization, across countries, what can be done?
Well, I believe to make it sustainable across countries and across organizations, we need to have a good HR practices from organizations, that is policymakers, in terms of looking at today and looking at the future. What can be sustainable today? What can we have today and be sustainable tomorrow? Just like in Nigeria, it might be difficult because our political system is like every government that comes with a new policy. And sometimes the demands are very high and people are not even meeting up their needs. Just like would have been able to have a sustainable work-life balance in Nigeria, but one of the key problems that we have is high rate of employment. People feel like they are doing you a favor by giving you a job. You need to just work even when the conditions are not good. Based on my suggestion of sustainable work-life balance is across countries, across cultures, across industries, is to be able to have a good working conditions based on timing, based on providing facilities, based on reducing hours of work, based on providing other incentives that will encourage people to be able to have more time with their families and their relations, to be able to meet up other needs in the society apart from spending all time in the organization.
Yes, sir. I think that's very important. You said about that the timing, work timing discipline is very important. The facilities, the company should give a lot of facilities because we need different facilities for women and the across different sections of society. HR policies need to be very strict. The governments have to be have similar policies, and they should be more sustainable. Hours of work is very important, as you said. One can start at 7 o'clock in the morning and it can go late evening. That gives us very less time for the family, and that has a lot of stress for a person who's working. There should be proper incentives, and family time is obviously very, very important here in this. So I think these are very relevant uh, issues here. Dr. Paul will come back to you at the end. I don't think I have any more questions, but we'll have more questions to you when about after our next speaker. And we'll come back to you and we'll have a discussion at that point of time. So, Dr. Paul, thank you. Thank you for really showing us a great research which you did and a very relevant topic. So, next we have our next speaker, and I'll introduce Dr. Jain here. So I welcome our next keynote speaker, Dr. Ranu Jain from Sydenham's Institute of Management Studies and Research, Entrepreneurship Education from India. Dr. Ranu Jain, with experience of more than 12 years in teaching and teaching capital markets, is a gold medalist holder and a PhD in capital markets. She is associated with a well-known institution here in India, Sydenham's Institute of Management Studies, Mumbai, as a finance faculty. And since 2015, Dr. Jain has been working with SEBI, BSc, IICA. These are all top government institutions here in India in the field of financial literacy since 2016, and has educated various sections of society, both rural and urban. She has been active in research and has various national and international publication to her credit. So I welcome you, Dr. Jain, and please, the stage is yours. Please continue. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for those kind words. And before I start, my sincere apologies again. Actually, cannot tell you, but I lost my all the luggage with original documents, laptop, and everything yesterday, and that's the reason for this particular glitch that everyone has to wait. So my sincere apologies for the same.
No,
And
no issues, ma'am. Please continue. No issues. I think it was it's wonderful to have you here. And please
Thank
continue.
you so much.
Thank you.
And beautiful morning again to everyone. A warm morning. And Again, I thank all the organizers for placing that trust in me. And without any further ado, let's delve into the topic. So since morning we have been talking a lot about like literacy, education system, how the globe is changing and everything. I wanted to touch on to one particular topic which I have researched and spent some considerable time as well, is about financial literacy. Now, irrespective of the stream that you are into, financial literacy, I assume, is very, very important, because every individual, whether you are into operations, logistics, science, engineering, management, right, finance, marketing, whichever stream we are talking about, uh, finance is something which everyone has, right? You do get, everyone earns, and they get a salary or have a earning. Now the question arises as to how to spend that particular earning. Now, and these days, financial literacy. So financial literacy basically means ability to take your financial decisions. If I have certain sum of money, where should I keep it? There are a lot of traditional sources as well which are available. But if we look at the data statistics, we see that this journey from developing country to developed country, or from underdeveloped to developing and then to develop, would come in significantly only and only excuse me, only and only if the financial literacy in any particular country, when that figure goes on increasing. Now what does this figure mean? It also means that people, they start exploring other investment options which are there at their disposal, other than the traditional sources of investments, which are considered as normally real estate, gold, and FD, fixed deposits, or real time deposits, right? Now we have seen in past 20 decades in Southeast Asia, past 2 decades in the Asian continent, especially about Southeast Asia, if I talk about where even Indonesia also comes in. So there has been a significant improvement and being like lot of work being done by the regulators. In India, we see a lot of work being done by the SEBI, which is Security Exchange Board of India, the RBI, which is Reserve Bank of India, and other institutions as well. They are taking significant. Yes, slide is not changing because I'm just setting the context of the topic that we are going to discuss. So yes, and because of that, this significant difference, we have seen the capital markets are expanding. Now, often the question being asked, which a layman or like they have this particular option question, that if I want to explore other investment options, right, how should I do that? So this is what we are going to discuss in next. I'll try to brief it up as quickly and as much as information I can provide in the next 15-20 minutes that we have in our hand, and then we'll go with the Q&A. So fundamental analysis. Now, what is fundamental analysis? If I talk about the valuation techniques or analysis methods, they are broadly divided into two, which is fundamental and technical. Now, fundamental means it is a stock valuation methodology which focuses on finding the intrinsic value, right? So suppose if I have this particular pen in my hand and it is being sold for 100 INR. Now, if it is being sold for 100 INR, the moment I am ready to pay 100 INR or Indian rupee, I would start thinking that is it worth 100 or it is worth, iska cost, what is the cost of this particular thing, right? So that's finding the intrinsic value. Now, how do we evaluate this intrinsic value is what we'll try to find out. And this is not true only for India, but across nations. When we are looking at different capital market investment options, this is how we proceed. So when we talk about wealth management, investment analysis, portfolio management, this is how we proceed. So the questions that we should be asking are these. that the first important question is, what is the general economic environment in which the company is operating, right? So economic environment of the company. Now, economic environment of the company means the economic situations of an economy. So this means that we will first look at the economy. We'll see whether it is in a healthy state of development or not. Is it progressive or not, right? Second, what is the political environment of the country or the market in which the company is operating or based? Why political environment? So time and again, there are a good number of examples even today. And we are very aware of the geopolitical risk which are happening right now, right? Whether we talk about the West or the East, in both the sides, we have seen that whenever there has been, last year there was like political instability in UK, and we saw the result that their GDP was in bad shape, right? And which affected the business. So, or today we are talking about the current geopolitical situation about Palestine and Hamas. Again, we see that all these times when when political turmoil is there, the company is not able to grow. Why? Because it's always a top-down approach. So if the top management, the people who are at the policy decision-making framework, if that's not stable, then it would be very difficult for the company to perform and do business, right? And the third important question is, when like the company if it is operating in a market, what is the level of competency that it has? Competition as well as the competency in the company to face that particular competition, right? So these are three very important questions that we should be asking first in order to evaluate any specific investment option that we are looking at, right? Now, as I've just told you, that normally the approach here being followed is either the top-down approach or bottom-up approach. Now, top-down, why top-down? There are three levels. As I've mentioned here, you can see in the slide as well: economy, industry, and company. So, if we are ill, right, what do? Basically, we first go to doctor, and doctor evaluates us on certain parameters. So on all those parameters, after checking onto all those parameters, the doctor looks at the parameters, looks at the reports, and then comes up with the analysis and interpretation that whether you are medically fit or not. Similarly, we need to evaluate these three parameters, whether the economy is healthy or not, whether the industry is growing or not, and then we come on to the company. So in the ensuing slides, we'll discuss as to, if you have to evaluate an economy, what are those factors that we should be looking at, right? If you have to evaluate an industry in that particular economy, how would you evaluate the industry, right? And when we look at the company, then how do you see whether the company is financially fit or not, right? Okay. So these are few parameters which would help you to see whether the economy is growing. Now, the first one, which is very important, I'm very sure you know, is GDP and the growth rate. So GDP is gross domestic product, which measures the value of goods and services produced in an economy in one financial year, right? So those 365 days, this GDP, is it growing or it's declining? If it is growing, at what pace it is growing, right? Why? Because if this, and what is the reason behind this particular growth, right? It should not be backed. If the growth is backed with all the inflation, then there's no real growth which is happening. So we should not focus on only and only GDP and GDP growth. What is also important is the growth rate, real growth rate, which is inflation. Real growth rate means inflation backed growth rate. Okay. Next is CPI and IIP. So in India, we have this terminology, which is Consumer Price Index and Wholesale Price Index. Okay. These are two indices which are available in India to measure inflation. So we need to consider that what is the inflation in particular country. So we have seen in past Venezuela, Zimbabwe, right? Very recently, even Pakistan was facing this problem of higher inflation. So if inflation is not always a demon, many people, they think that inflation is a demon, it's a devil, which is not good for economy or for consumers. But I would like to think you on this particular basis, that what is the cause behind inflation? See, inflation would come in. Inflation is increase in price of goods and services. Now, inflation would come in only and only if the prices are increasing. Now, this price increase will come when there's a demand. So, inflation is a direct implication that there's demand in the economy. Correct? Now, the problem comes in when inflation starts rising at a higher percentage. Okay. So, the focus on to maintain this particular inflation. So, basically, it means that there should be acceleration in the, when you're driving the vehicle, it should be in a speed. That's where acceleration would come into picture. But it is to be combined with brake so that you can speed, you have that access to that speed combined with brake. So wherever brakes are required, it can be controlled. So this inflation can be controlled, should be controlled. 4 to 6% is considered as across globe healthy inflation rate. Beyond this, if it starts rising, that's where problems are being faced by the economy. Now, the next is industrial production. So, index of industrial production, this means the industries across, there are different sectors, right? You talk about banking, you talk about, let's say, core metal industries, okay? Then we have IT, pharmaceutical, FMCG, energy. These are different industries. These combined together, every country has a unique index. Okay, so this index would grow only when the actual manufacturing base of an economy is growing. Okay, so that's how we measure index of industrial production. Now, next is employment. So, and this is where you would see that the per capita income is very important, right? Only when people have employment, their per capita income would increase, which would get translated into higher standard of living. Now, higher standard of living would come in very simply because, why? Because there's demand which is coming in. So this will get reflected in the sales of the company, which will again get reflected in the profits. So this is, it's not just one particular individual point that, or individual indicator or element of an economy which we are talking about, but all these indicators are related. One indicator is related with the other one. Okay. The next is rainfall. Now, from Indian perspective, this is very important because even today, 40-45% of the people, they reside in the rural area and their income is dependent on that. Because the farm income, the agricultural produce is still dependent on rainfall. And if rainfall is good, that means the production will be good. When they sell their goods, they'll have more money in their pocket, which will again get translated into sales. So that's where demand, why are we talking about demand? Demand is very, very important. Companies' profit or corporate profits, how are these corporate profits performing, right? The companies, they will be able to perform when they have sales, right? These sales, if they cover up all the operating costs, will get translated into profits. So how are the companies in that particular economy operating? Now, another factor which is not being looked upon but is very important is house startup. Now, this will give a clear indication. Why? Because people will buy a house or initiate development or building up a house only when they have money in their pocket. So that's again simple logic going back, that per capita income is increasing in an economy. How are the inflation that we have talked about is directly related to money supply and interest rates, right? So if interest rates are increasing in an economy, obviously it means that the government in that particular economy is trying to control the inflation. Okay, and because they are trying to control the inflation, they would increase interest rate, and money in that particular economy would flow from riskier investments like capital market investments to less risky investment, maybe in terms of gold or FDs and bank related deposits. Okay, so how are the interest rates varying? And it has direct implication with the inflation. We need to set that relationship very clear and understand that how is that the central bank in an economy, how they are playing with these interest rates so as to control the inflation. So this is the break that I was talking about. Acceleration is your inflation in economy, and the break that I was talking about is your interest rate. Now, personal disposable income, we have already talked about it. Retail sales, the companies, how are they performing in terms of revenue? Because only and only if there are sales, it will get converted into revenue. Budget of an economy. Now, budget gives us an information whether the government is in expansion mode or in contraction mode. And this also gives us an idea that which are those sectors. See, after economy, if you look at this particular slide, we have just seen that after economy, it is the industry. So when you focus on budget, it will give you an idea that the government spending or focus is on the development of which particular industries, where that expansion is actually happening. Okay. And next we talk about international trade. Is it importing or exporting? If they are importing, which is the major sector that they are importing? If they are exporting, which are those major sectors that they are exporting? So all these will give you an idea about the next from economy as we move on to the next ladder, get on to a finer microscopic view, right? So these industries will help you, right? You get an idea as to which industry should I focus on. And the bankruptcies, if more number of bankruptcies being filed in an economy, or if we see more number of millionaires and billionaires being added in the global list from that particular economy, that's a very clear sign whether the economy is on the rising state or in the falling state. Okay, now after economy, the next stage that we have talked about is industry. Now, many people, they have this doubt that it is so very important. Plus, at the same time, it is very difficult to analyze an industry altogether. How do I analyze the industry? So I have, through my practical experience, I have seen that these are three very basic ones, but so helpful. The moment we start analyzing it, right, it becomes picture clear. So these are some methods which I have illustrated to analyze an industry. And in management, we talk a lot about Porter's 5-force model. And when I saw Porter's 5-force application in finance, I was really so amused and at the same time very happy as well that this has its application almost in every single industry that we talk about. So when we talk about Porter's 5-force model, right, Porter's 5-force model is the state of industry, rivalry, easy entry, exit, right? Who is the price maker? Is it the consumer or the supplier, right? These are Porter's 5-force. So when you analyze one particular industry in that particular economy, we get to know that what is the level of competition. Is it a monopoly business, or there are a lot of it's a kind of it can be a perfect competition or near perfect competition situation, right? It can be a monopoly, it can be oligopoly, it can be monopolistic competition. So the moment you start analyzing there, you get an idea whether this particular industry is very competitive, or if it is a monopoly or oligopoly, then you get a clear picture that yes, it is a basic necessity people would still be there, demand would be there, and then we get an idea that yes, this is the company that I want to invest in. The next one is pestle analysis. So PEST, PEST, P for political, E for economy, S for social, and T for technology. Often there are some which at times we read it as pestle, PESTEL as well. Okay, where another E is added for environmental, L is for legal. So again, if you look at all of this, basically the Porter's 5 force model is being illustrated in all these models in different ways. When we talk about SWOT analysis, which is the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, which again, nothing but another way of saying, let's say, PEST analysis or Porter's 5 force model. Or forget all of this as well. If we don't understand how do we analyze, we should know the KPIs of that particular industry, which is key performance industry. So to give you a few of the examples, if we talk about hospitality industry or in the hotel industry, right, occupancy rate is very important. So what is the occupancy rate in this particular industry? The moment you see this KPI increasing, you know that yes, this particular industry is increasing, right? Again, similarly in aviation, if we talk about the occupancy rate, similarly is very important. If we talk about the telecom sector, here we talk about average usage per consumer and what is the cost of it. How much is, if this average usage per consumer is increasing and the company is able to save onto the cost. So directly I have an idea by looking at these key performance indicators, whether it is worth getting into that particular industry or not. And once you are in the industry, then we are trying to identify that which are those companies which are doing or performing really well, which are those gems which I should pick up from this particular industry. So when we are looking at these companies, we should very specifically focus on the financial statements. These statements are like the report that, as I've just told you, when we are ill or when we don't feel good in a happy note, we normally visit a doctor, and doctor then suggests us different type of test. The test report after analyzing. So these test reports, analysis and interpretation is very important. The way doctor analyzes your different parameters and comes up with the conclusion, similarly, the company's balance sheet, financial statements, auditor's report, director's report, if we look at that, we get a clear picture that whether the company is performing good or not, right? How healthy, how growing it is. So here I've also given an idea as to how can you do this particular analysis. And many times when we talk with different categories of investors and everyone, they say that how this is so very financial terminology that we are talking about. But that is where I come up with a very simple example stating that, sir, no one knew that when we started with the technological advancement, and if I'm using this particular cell phone, being a commerce and then entering into finance, I had no idea that what kind of processor, what kind of camera quality, what is Bluetooth, what is music system, battery backup, nothing I knew. I had no idea how to use Facebook in terms of technology, or maybe Instagram, which is ruling over the world, these type of social medias as well, or maybe in terms of WhatsApp. But slowly and gradually, as I started exploring it, I learned. And this is the process here as well. In terms of finance as well, when we start looking at it and when we learn, slowly and gradually we analyze, we learn to analyze a company as well. So we do trend analysis, ratio analysis in the coming slide. Very quickly, I'll talk about it as well. So trend analysis is nothing but simply a depiction of the trend, sales or revenue. Are they growing or declining? Year on year and Q on Q as well, quarter on quarter basis as well. How is the performance? Is it improving? The operations, are they improving or not? The profit margins, are they improving or not? the return. So on all these parameters, we need to see whether the trend is rising or not. And at the same time, we can do comparative analysis as well, that in this particular industry, let's say there are 10 companies. These 10 companies, you do a comparative analysis that yes, this company is performing better in terms of profitability or in terms of return on assets. Or this particular company is growing at a faster pace than the others in the same industry. So we get an idea whether this is actually good or not. This particular company, when we compare, see, if I have two, let's say, papers here, okay, the moment I start looking at the GSM quality, okay, color and everything, so what, the moment I start comparing the GSM, I get to know that which one is better. Okay, so when we do comparative analysis, we actually compare companies across the industry to see which one is better. And the first one, where we talk about ratios, these are some of the important ones which help us to analyze, which is return on equity, return on capital employed, debt equity ratio, what is the market value, how are the historical earnings, the products and services that they are offering, does it have a sustainable demand or not, who has the pricing power, is it the supplier or the consumer, what is the operational cost, are they able to recover it or not. These are some of the factors that we need to think about it, right? We also need to see whether the management, who's at the management, do they have any governance issues or not, right? So if the person or the board of directors who are managing those particular company, what kind of track records do they have? Okay, and in the last, if nothing works, we can simply do a common sense analysis. You can look around, you will get to know the trend. Let's say, for example, in if we talk about in India, the kind of food habits that slowly and gradually is changing. So that gave rise, so giants like, or MNCs like KFC, when they entered, okay, or maybe Pizza Hut. So when you see the trend changing, the lifestyle changing, you get a clear-cut picture that yes, this is something which would now work. And these are some of the suggestions in terms of reading as well as books, like both in terms of books as well as movies. If you in through a lot of entertainment plus learning is what these movies. But yes, this was my take on the fundamental analysis. And thank you so much again to all the organizers and to all the listeners. I'm sure I was able to make up with the earlier loss that I did. And once again, my sincere apologies to everyone who waited for this one. So yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think, yes, your presentation was really good and it was worth waiting for you, ma'am. So I think you spoke about financial literacy, and and you spoke about indicators, how in a financial situation, which are the indicators which I'll just a minute, I'll just switch on my camera. I think it's off.
So it's on.
Okay.
Your camera is
So
on.
yes, ma'am. So uh, so you spoke about indicators. You said and you showed us a lot of indicators like GDP and indexes, different indexes, and how one should look at economy through these indicators. And you spoke about analysis tools, and you told us that how five forces model is being used for finance also, and that's something very important and something to learn for all the students here. You also talk about reports. Reports are very important, as you said that this is how you can find out about a company and how that company is doing, especially the audit reports, the results which are coming up, and how to study financial analysis. It's very important. And then you spoke about trends, how you can look at trends like In India, you gave example of Pizza Hut, KFC, and they are coming. And in the end, the suggestions, especially the movies, was something very, very, very interesting. And I think students will like that. So I now invite questions from the audience. So if you have questions, you can ask those questions. You can, okay, we have a question from Subhashis. Thank you, Subhashis, for asking this question. So he's asking, ma'am, what kind of analysis is required for forecasting, especially during difficult times or unforeseen situations? So if you can just throw some light on this.
Correct. So that's where again, see, analyzing a company is very much similar to the way we analyze individuals as well. If your immune system is strong, even in those difficult times, it would be a temporary setback, very small setback, right? And the moment those economic situations they turn conducive, that's where the company would start running again. Okay, so during difficult times, a fundamentally strong company would still survive, but the weak ones would slowly and gradually fade away, or they would die. The parameters, the way we do analysis still remains the same. The parameters doesn't change. See, I'll tell you, if a person is having a heart attack, right? So the parameter, the ECG, okay, or the pulse rate, the measurement parameter still remains the same. That doesn't change. And all those companies which are actually performing in a good way, they would still be able to perform in those difficult times as well, but just at a slower rate.
Yes, I think that is very relevant, and that is it. In fact, I want to ask a question, and it's not a question. I want you to please suggest, because there are a lot of students from international forums here from different countries. We have students from Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria who are here, and there are a lot of academicians here. So, if you can suggest us how to go forward in improving the financial literacy for our students, what should be the academic institutions doing, should be doing, and how should we understand the international financial systems and how things are happening. For example, the first speaker gave us a lot of inputs on how things are happening in Indonesia, and what is Indonesia looking like in next few years and how they are doing. So how to understand these things? What should a student be doing to understand these international situations?
So the very first thing which I would like to suggest here is reading. There's no alternate to reading. And to quote Mr. Warren Buffett, I read in his article as well, and I saw it in his interviews as well. He reads for even at the age of 90 plus. He reads more than 8 hours plus daily. The more we read, more insights we get. That's first thing. For the students, the more you read, more insights you get, right? If you bought an Apple iPhone, what do? We keep on Googling that what different features can I use. So keep on updating yourself. Never ever shy away from updation, because the more you update, the less are the chances of redundancy or obsolescence, right? So that's one thing, read. Second, lot of workshops, guest sessions for students should be arranged from the industry background. So what will this do? This will basically try to bridge the gap between the industry and academia that we have. And also it will give students an idea that what is the practical application of this particular topic that we are looking at. That's also there. So these would be my primarily first two suggestions. That first is reading. There's no substitute to reading. And second is interaction. The more we interact with the industries, the more guest sessions, guest lectures being organized, which helps students to give the practical side of how the industry is actually operating. So that's where a lot of financial literacy also would come in.
Okay, I think that's a wonderful suggestion here. And I have a question from Firdaus. Firdaus, thank you for asking this question. So he's asking, ma'am, given the current trends of innovation and digitalization, how in line they are with financial inclusion and financial literacy, and what are the policy bottlenecks in it? So this is what is very important, because innovation and technology is changing everything these days.
Yes.
So
So,
what are the issues
sir,
there?
if we just go back, let's take an example of the banking industry, because we are talking about financial literacy and lot of it comes through the banking industry as well. So, if we take that particular example, and how banking has evolved in every single country in these 50 years. So there was a time where we were talking about barter system, where goods were being exchanged against the other, right? And then slowly and gradually came in the metal age. After that came in the fiat currency. We were talking about physical currency at that point of time, where there was gold standard. Then we shifted on to the fixed exchange rate. We moved on to the flexible exchange rate, and slowly and gradually came in the plastic money, right? And today, from plastic money, we have moved a step ahead, where we are talking about the virtual currency as well, in terms of bitcoins and a lot of other cryptocurrencies as well. And each country is now also trying to come up with their own virtual currency. And a beautiful innovation in India has been in the form of UPI, which is Unified Payment Interface. Now, if we look at this, see how has this transformed. Earlier, when it took some months to transfer money from one person to another, because of innovation and technology, we have moved to an age where within seconds we can transfer payment to any person sitting in any part of globe within seconds, not just minutes, not just days, but within seconds, right? So that is the level of digitalization and innovation which is being done in the now. Financial literacy comes in, where it means that more and more number of people, they start using all these technological instruments that we have at our disposal. So the moment more people start using it, that is where more and more financial literacy aspects would come into the picture. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for this answer. And we have Dr. Gen and Dr. Paul also with us, who were the speakers before, and we can invite questions for them also. So any of the audience, now you can put questions to the forum here. We have 3 of the keynote speakers who are here. And if you want to ask any questions, you can either write in chat or just hand raise, so that I can see and I can ask questions. I can ask questions on your behalf also. So if I'm able to see here, I'll just check whether I'll also check from participant list if anyone is raising hands. Okay, so if any one of you have questions from whatever deliberations which we had and the speeches, I'll just summarize what speeches which we have. The first speech, or the first speaker, spoke about a golden Indonesia dream, which is around which says that Indonesia will be a developed country in 2045, and it's somehow resonating with Indian dream also. And all the developing countries, we all want to develop and come out of this middle income trap which we are there, and we want to. And countries, the most important part is here, which we see is all the developed countries, especially in this part of the world, in this part of or in Asia, they are looking for a development plan for next 20-25 years. And so there's a lot of things which we spoke here. And then we spoke of economic resilience and global transformation and the role of education, how, and we saw a very important Malaysian blueprint and how things are changing, what are the priorities of budget in Malaysia for education, and how rankings are playing. And then we had spoken about job stress in Nigeria, and how Nigerian companies are having problems with work-life balance. And here I can see that a lot of things, what is happening in Nigeria, I can see the same problems in India and other countries. So I can be very comfortably say that we are here talking about a lot of similar things. Whatever is happening in Malaysia is happening in India, is happening in Nigeria. And in the end, we had Dr. Ranu Jain, who was talking about Indian financial market and how financial literacy, indicators, analysis. So we have a international perspective on a lot of things with this seminar. So I can now, I have a question for Dr. Jain. Dr. Jain, if you are there, I have questions from
Yes,
Daya
I am here.
Rani. Okay, so the question here is, ma'am, uh, to increase campus resilience, how do you encourage lecturers to get involved in this program? Okay, and what lecturer involvement is needed to improve the campus brand image? I think a very relevant question, because lecturers and the teachers are the most important stakeholders when it comes to teaching. So, what role they can play in the campus brand image? And programs like this, conferences, international conferences, Nusantara project, student exchange, these kind, what lecturers can do. So if you can throw some light in this, ma'am.
Yeah, hello, Dr. Rudresh. I
Hello.
believe that this question I answered before the third
Yes.
speaker come in. So maybe let me have a write up about this one. We say we have the Nusantara project, we can cooperate amongst the countries, right? So another one suggestion can be we can work with our industry partners, which is the MNC company, which are willing to provide us some case study happens in the real world in their companies. So we can send a group of our students to provide some solutions with the company. So during the project, normally in INTI, we use around 2 months to 3 months to do the projects. So at the same time, they will attending the class, they learn the theory, which is the project must be related with the subject base. So from here, at the same time, they learn the theory, they will apply what they learn in the classroom and provide the solutions to the employer. We call them as an employer. So during their presentations, the employer can provide their feedback. Actually, the solutions is practical or only theory. So from there is a win-win situations. We also can bring out our university image that our students have the ability to understand the gaps between the real world and the classroom learning. Besides this one, we also encourage students to attend more sustainability workshop, example SDG, for the sustainability, not only for the environment, at the same time is for the educations. So from here, the lecturers can do is assist the student more active, more engaged with the society. So from here, we can increase more our university brands at the same times and improve as a lecturer skill, because we know that nowadays the students is the youngest generations. If we do not try to close our gaps with the young generations, we have the communication gaps. So this is the part I try always to minimize the gaps between student and the lecturers, so we can work together and bring out the more good reputations for the university. I hope I have answered your questions.
Yes, ma'am. I think it's really a great advice. And I have here one comment from Dr. Firdaus Malik, who's saying that rising economic disruptions because of inflation, political instabilities, wars like Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, what type of diplomacy we need to save economies and manpower in particular. I want every speaker to give some feedback on this burning issue. Yes, I think, Firdaus, this is a very relevant question that we are seeing. And with an international forum like this, what is the opinion of different speakers here who are from different countries, who are from different backgrounds? So if Dr. Paul is here, I'll start with Dr. Paul. I hope you can hear me, Dr. Paul.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you come again?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Paul. So the question is that you see a lot of instability in international situation these days. There's wars going on like Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, and there is inflation, as you spoke in your presentation also, that inflation is a big problem in Nigeria. The same way we see in all developing countries, in India, Indonesia, inflation is eating our growth. So inflation is doing a lot of harm to us. And then what kind of diplomacy countries like Nigeria, India, Malaysia should have, and how do we save our economies, our manpower? So what are your suggestions on this, especially from Nigeria, looking at the world and the other countries like us, which we are here in this?
Yes, looking at the challenge that we have.
If you can just bring your camera more nearer, Dr. Paul, so we can, the background is more visible here actually. So if you can remove the background also, maybe that will also help. The
I'm sorry,
okay?
Dr. Rudresh, Dr. Paul. Maybe you can just turn off the Zoom background so we can see you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can just turn off the Zoom background. That will help.
Thank you.
No, it's still there. Paul. I think we can continue, Dr. Paul, if you have problem.
Yes, I think the kind of diplomacy that we need, possible, like the way I look at our country, Nigeria, and other parts of the world, that we have totally been depending on what comes out from the developed nations. For me, it's to look inward, see how we can be able to harness our local raw materials, how we can be able to impact, look at the institutions in Nigeria to go back into researching, looking at areas like how we can be able to utilize, process, use our local raw materials so that in times of needs, in times of crisis, we might not be looking at global inflation affecting our local economy, just like our own case. The Ukraine war has actually affected Nigeria because Nigeria totally depends on fertilizer from the developed nations. All what we consume basically is like it's coming from the developed nations, just like Nigeria has crude today, but we don't have refineries today to refine. We export the crude and we end up importing the refined oil, which is totally dependent on the exchange rate. And the exchange rate today that we know that the present administration, which has just removed the subsidy, and most Nigerians are finding it very difficult. The number of vehicles has totally reduced by more than 80% because our local refineries, no single one is totally functioning. And we know that the kind of diplomacy that we need today is to see how we can collaborate with other countries, share ideas, share innovations, bring up, see how we can combine the local raw materials and see how the developing countries can step up to the level that they don't need to totally depend on the developed nations. This is my own take.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Paul. I think are very relevant. And I'll again suggest you if you can, sir, just remove your background because you were not visible when you were answering. I'll come to Dr. Gen. Dr. Gen, what is your take? How things are affecting when it comes to international diplomacy, war situations which are happening, as Dr. Paul said, that Nigeria has been affected by this Ukraine war because they have been dependent on few things, and the country should be self-dependent also. That is what is needed. So, what has been your experience in Indonesia, and what is your take in this?
This will be a big challenge for me because I not really study on this topic. So may I pass to the next speaker to answer?
Sure, sure.
Because this is not my area. I'm sorry about that.
No issues, ma'am. No issues. Dr. Jain, I'll take your perspective from financial aspect. So, in fact, you touched upon this issue also, that a lot of financial problems comes when it comes to international situation, and they are causing. So, how do you think that what can be an international perspective? What kind of diplomacy different countries should adopt, and what are the financial aspects one should keep in mind when we look at war situations like which is happening in Ukraine or in Gaza? So,
Okay. So, yes, last year we saw Russia-Ukraine war, and this year the Gaza, Palestine, and Hamas, this entire thing, fiasco came into picture, and obviously these type of geopolitical risks, and time and again, it's not just today. If we look in the history, uh, let's say the very famous one, World War I, World War II, there are so many wars internally as well as within the countries which have created these kind of stress. Now, these political stress is directly impacting the growth of an economy. So, what I believe in is looking at this problem from the very ground level. Very ground level. It means that I believe in, and it has proved across nations and history, that education is one system which creates education is one profession which creates all the other professions, right? So the kind of diplomats, the kind of leaders, the kind of industrialists that we create, right, what is deciding actually the future of that particular economy. So as educationists, what we preach our students, the kind of value system and the way we mold and nurture these students is what every single industry will get reflected into. So I would just look at this particular question from a very different perspective, that if we start focusing on our education policies, right, and nurture the children, our future leaders, our future nation developers in the right way, that's where the world will come at peace and be friendly. There would be a friendly atmosphere everywhere. So that would be my take. I know a little different from the finance background that I come from, but truly addressing the core and the root of this particular problem is, this would be my suggestion and take on this particular question.
Thank you, ma'am. For in fact, we have praises for you also in the comment box.
Thank you.
About your
Thank you so
speaking.
much.
We have one more question for you.
Yes.
You have
Please,
generated a lot of
sure.
interest in us listeners here, and the question is that saving driven economy, is it good for a country, or a investment driven economy? So I think the question is between saving driven and investment driven. So what is your take, and how one should
Okay.
look at it?
So let's look at this particular question with the help of an example. So let's assume that every single day, one bowl full of rice you are saving, uncooked rice, you are saving and you're keeping it in a refrigerator or in a safe place, so that you can use it in bad times, correct? Okay, that is saving. Now what is investment? A part of that particular rice which I'm saving, right, I sow it in the field. Now with the moment I start sowing and cultivating it, right, which rice will grow at a faster pace? In first case, where I've just set it aside and kept it safe, or in the second place, there would be good and bad times. There would be uncertain weathers, everything. But not every weather would be bad. There would be years where one would have a bumper harvest as well. So investing economy, now the state of, this is also very important, where in which particular state economy is operating, right? Is it developed, is it underdeveloped, or it is at the developing stage? So if it is developing stage, then investing economies would add to the growth phase of that particular economy. If it is a developing if it is a developed, then more of a saving approach would foster, right? But always and always certain amount of investment is very, very important, because then the money will not be able to beat your inflation. And we have seen that over a period of time, as inflation comes in, and if your money is not growing, it means the purchasing power of that particular currency will go down if you just save and don't invest. So that's very, very important. Investment this is where the real growth of money would happen. So yes, investing economy is anytime preferred over the saving funds. Let's look at Japan, for example. They are excellent. In Asian continent, Japanese people are considered as excellent savers. But still they are not growing. It's at the stage of developed economy. Why are they not growing? Because they have that savings. They are not being able to turn the savings into investment. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. In fact, you said very rightly. You said that both balance between investment and
very
savings
important.
is important. So yes, that we have to understand. Dr. Paul, I'll come back to you again. And in fact, maybe we don't have much time. So we can have quick one or two questions. So what is your suggestions to students who are right now studying, and we have a lot of students here, and maybe they will be building a career, going out and doing a job, or maybe doing their own business. So in countries like Nigeria, India, and Indonesia, what will be your advice to them to look forward, and what should be their priorities, and what kind of international exposure they should have to develop themselves? And I think AIBPM gives them this a platform. So what is your suggestion to them, sir?
My suggestions to students is not looking at the traditional way of schooling, which has been in place. We always go to school to seek for a white collar job, which the jobs are no more there. In some of the schools, they have what we call vocational training, that whatever course you are reading, like backup Covenant University, if you are reading medicine, you choose medicine with any of the vocational training that you intend to achieve, so that at the end of the day, when you are graduating with two certificates. One, you already have something that you can fall back to, rather than moving with the certificate from street to street looking for a job, because the jobs are no longer there. Then international collaboration like AIBPM, which has given students opportunity to collaborate India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and others, to be able to work, to see other opportunities, or to see other things that are really going on in other countries, that they can apply them in their own countries to add value to the society, to their own countries, by identifying just some needs which the people don't really know. And by doing that, they can be able to be self-reliant, and they can be able to add value to the economy, instead of depending that I am going to school just to get a job, but the jobs are no longer there. That's my take.
Yes, I think that is a very relevant point, Dr. Paul, because the student should develop themselves, their own skills, and they should be doing something on their own also. Entrepreneurship is very important. They should not be dependent on others, and if they can have their own skills, they can go ahead and do their own jobs and the work, and this will not only help them make them self-sufficient, but this will help the economy also. This will help the nation and the country also. So that's something very relevant. I'll come to Dr. Gain. Dr. Gain, you spoke about the role of education. So after these deliberations, across the speakers which we have, so what is your suggestions now? If I ask you to give few advice to students, because the students are here, what should be their priority, their objectives, their goals in succeeding in their life? So if you can just throw some light on this, ma'am.
Thank you, Doctor. So, some advice to the student is, which is besides study, I also understand that some students will have the part-time job to support their study fee, right? So, beside your part-times and the educations, what we can advise is involve yourself in more activity, social activity, and some workshop which can enhance your skill. Through the learning, we only can have the better soft skill. Okay, this soft skill can help in your future for your career service. At the same time, also can improve your entrepreneur skills?
Okay, that is, I think, very important. One thing which has come up here in this conference is that entrepreneur skills are very important for students to have for their. So they should be looking for entrepreneur skills, not be dependent on jobs, because jobs are dependent on the economy of the country. So the economy is good, you will have a lot of jobs. So why don't you take up the challenge and make the economy better? And so this was the one takeaway which I think all the speakers commonly said. So entrepreneurship is very important. And in fact, I'll suggest AIBPM here also that they should be doing um, um, uh, some activities on entrepreneurship, development of entrepreneurship skills at the international level. How Indonesian students can develop their business with Indian market or with Nigerian market, and same thing with Nigerian students, how they can do businesses and look for business opportunities with India or Indonesia. So these things are very important. Second thing which came across the speakers was that we all are looking at future very positively, and we are all the countries here are looking at future, and they are looking at the growth, future growth, which is going to be there, and they have their plans. So I think students are at a very right time, and they have a lot of opportunities for them for growth in next maybe 10 years or 20 years, which will be their working life. And in Indonesia, in India, in Nigeria, you have a lot of opportunities which will come up, and you should be ready for those opportunities. Develop yourself. So I think with this, we come to an end, and a wonderful speeches by all the speakers. Let me check if we have some final questions here. So I think we have taken all the questions. So wonderful speeches. And Aulia, I'll give the stage to you now. And before that, I want to thank all the keynote speakers, also AIBPM, especially Dr. Professor Lim, Aulia Era, for organizing this. I will thank all the students also here, all the participants who were there. We still have more than 110 participants here who are still here, and there were a lot of questions. So obviously there was a lot of enthusiasm among you in listening and helping me in moderating this session, which was really, and it was a opportunity for me. So thank you. I'll hand over to Aulia to tell the students what will be the way forward and how the next sessions will take forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rudresh, and also all the keynote speakers for such insightful discussions. Very well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that we've been having great days since the seminar and discussions were definitely resourceful and well constructed.